reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spend waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid. I watch all of my people die. Why your people try to act like we commit crime? Get killed on TV, got our kids scared to go outside. It's time you pick a side. Before we turn this bitch up, Mr. President, better fall in line. Yeah, we don't need loans, we need what we owe. We need police to stop killing sisters inside their home. And when it happen and we burn this bitch down, they need to stop telling us we was wrong. Ay, and we need unity. We need the government to stop bringing drugs in our community. They better stop playing, we not the ones. You got guns and we got guns. We kill if you play with our funds. Yeah, how we supposed to restore when they won't give us more? When they got knees on our necks when we walk out the store. How we heal when they go to the park, kill a 12-year-old boy for killing, we ready for war. Yeah, and we need reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spend waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid.
Peace, greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, aka Mr. Just the Facts. Mr. Just the Facts. Family, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. I know many of you will be watching from Twitter. Go on over to the Be the Power YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can become a part of the notification nation and get notified every time BTP drops its dynamic content. Shout out to my mods. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in and will tune in. All right. So obviously, the news of the day is the attempted assassination of former President Donald J. Trump. And it was so funny because we have like a group inbox, and Sister Antonia, shout out to Sister Antonia, she put a message in the inbox, and I was driving, and the message said Trump just got shot. And I was like, I know I didn't just read that. And I was, you got to drive and look at your phone. I'm like, I put GTFOH. It's like, get out of here. And now I'm driving and I'm thumb typing. I'm like, Trump just, trying to watch the road and look. It's like, oh, then I come across the video. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. This is crazy. They tried to take that man out. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, and we're going to, I don't know, we're not going to be on here long. I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's right, Reps. They got his right ear. They did hit him. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. I'm going to talk a little bit about, it was people that were saying that it was a hoax and all, just a bunch of nonsense, man, that's been spread over social media. It was staged, and I'm like, come on, people actually died, regardless of what we feel, somebody there got killed. And we know how, especially them people are when it's us. And I know sometimes we give and we take and we give in return. That's a fact. But insofar as it being staged after somebody got, saying that it was staged, come on, man. Let's not do that. But this is the political field that we're in. White boy with a Trump manifesto or Trump-loving white boy Republican, ultra right wing, goes and shoots up a school. The right says that it was staged. Somebody attempts to take out the president, former president. The left is saying that it was staged. This is the political climate that we are a part of. And let me see, where do I want to start with this? I want to let's go to the video. I want to play this video from the Associated Press because I think that it captured, the Wall Street Journal, because I think that this video captured the chronology of the events. I'm pretty certain everybody has seen the video by now, so I'm not gonna do no necessarily do no walkthroughs or anything like that of that video. So let me see how this is looking on my end. All right. So let's play this.
Gunfire erupted at a campaign rally for former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, Saturday. Trump said a bullet struck him in the ear. Here's how the attack unfolded. President Trump was speaking from a stage located here, with Secret Service snipers in position on the roof of a building behind the stage. The suspected gunman was on the roof of another building less than 450 feet away from.
So I want to stop it here because this is important. This gunman had what authorities are calling a AR style rifle, and you see that distance, 450 feet. Now that's a good distance. That is, if ARs have a range. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that because people are saying that it was staged and that if the guy had better aim. I've heard a bunch of stuff. It was people that was hoping Trump got taken out, saying they wish he had better aim. But there are factors that have to be considered. For those of you that know a little bit about shooting, like myself, I am no expert at it, but I do know a little bit. We're gonna get into that. But I wanted to point that out, that the shooter was approximately 450 feet away from where Trump was speaking.
Where Trump was speaking, with a clear line of sight.
And look what happened to our country.
Moments before the shooting, we can hear nearby spectators saying they see someone with a gun. At the same time, while Trump speaks, the Secret Service snipers can be seen facing the gunman's direction. We see the agent on the roof pick his head up just before shots ring out at 6:15. Secret Service agents rush to pull Trump to the ground. As they rush him from the stage, blood can be seen on the bleachers behind where Trump was speaking. A spectator was killed and 2 more were critically injured at the event. The suspected gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, was shot and killed.
"20 years old. Wow. That was crazy. But I liked the Wall Street Journal and how they did a chronology of the event and how fast it happens. I seen a video by this idiot chick, Amanda Seales, talking about, she grew up in the hood and she knew that wasn't gunfire. And I'm like, what? You've obviously not grown up in the hood, because if you've grown up in the hood and you've ever been to any block party where there's loud music and there's a bunch of people and you start hearing shots, they sound muffled. And the reason, especially if they're coming from far away, and the reason why they sound muffled is due to several different factors: the music, the people's voices, and other environmental factors, just outside noise in general. And this is why some of the witnesses were saying that it at first sounded like fireworks, and this is usually what happens when there are shots, when the guy in Las Vegas, when he opened fire on the crowd at that country music concert, that's what people were saying. People were like, I thought it was fireworks that I was hearing at first, and then I just start seeing people falling and I start seeing people duck, etc., etc. So, and the reason why that's important for me to stress, because I don't want any of our people to ever be anywhere in the crowd and someone opens fire from some distance and, we're like, is that fireworks? We're kind of reactive because we come from where we come from, where shots are a consistent part of our lives. We are born and raised in it. So we have to for us, especially, we have to be easy because you already have some idiots like this guy right here. Let me share my screen, right? Because this Crooks, what is his name? Thomas Crooks, whatever his name was. He was said to be a registered Republican. So that's baffling a lot of people. Baffling a lot of people. So let me read my caption first. I said, whites are trying to find a way to blame blacks for the white man, also said to be a Republican, that tried to assassinate Trump. Quote unquote, blame the black guy is a real thing. And this idiot and those who liked and agreed with this post are the proofs. Cut this shit out. And so this Gunther Eagleman, somebody commented on my tweet, and I guess this guy is a right-wing white race baiter. He said this: these are the congressional representatives that sought to remove Trump's Secret Service detail. They should all resign in disgrace. So I start looking, some of these names I know are freedmen. I start looking these people's names up. I'm like, okay, these are freedmen. Like, what is this dude trying to say? So it's like, okay, we got to find a way to blame black people. This ain't got nothing to do with us, right? If this, because it's race war that we've been embroiled in since this country's founding. And if that be the case, if those that want to insert an if that be the case, then, well, this has nothing to do with us. How can these people suggest or even attempt, because it says that sought to remove Trump's Secret Service detail? How is that even possible? I would like for someone to break that down to me that has knowledge that these representatives, that these congressional representatives have the power to remove Trump's Secret Service detail. I mean, this makes no sense. This is idiocy. So I wanted to share that, and the fact that reports are coming in about the shooter and the weapon that he used. It is said that it's his father's weapon. So let me share my screen and pull that up. Make sure y'all hit the like button, fam. Hold on. Make sure y'all supporting make sure we need some support on the platform. Y'all know we just starting back out, and you all can send your donations to $ be the power. Let us rebuild this thing that we started building some years ago. And again, shout out to everybody that's listening in. So let's go and read some of this article. AR-15 style weapon was used in attempt on the life of former President Trump. Let me see. Well, let's play.
This is about as uncertain a presidential election that we've seen in modern times, and really for some time even before that. It's been since 1972, a half century ago, that a major presidential candidate was hit by the bullet of a would-be assassin. So that does shake up a race. And it's not like this was a run-of-the-mill presidential election before this happened. This has been a campaign full of volatility, full of historic aspects. You know, this is a moment where our politics seem to be a little unhinged. It's our first election since the January 6th assault on the Capitol. I think a lot of people feel...
All right. I don't want to play all of this. I just wanted to, wanted them to play, because I didn't click on this video before I started the space. I just read from this article. So let's read from this article. And this is from USA Today, former President Donald Trump was shot at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania Saturday, surviving an assassination attempt. One person was killed, 2 others were critically injured. The Secret Service said Thomas Matthew Crook, 20, was identified by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as the shooter. He was killed at the scene, and an investigation into motive remains ongoing. USA Today reported that an AR-15 style rifle was used in the assassination attempt. CNN reported Sunday that the gun was used to identify crooks. Crooks. They put Thomas Matthew Crook here. Here's what we know about the weapon used in the assassination attempt. Was it a semi-automatic rifle? So, they're breaking down what a semi-automatic rifle is as opposed to an automatic rifle. Then they, I guess they're getting into the politics of AR-15s, obviously. But, there's some people that are against AR-15s. I was at one point. I didn't think that they were necessary for civilians. But now that, a lot of civilians have them, well, we must have them too. we must have them too. So this is the part that I wanted to point out. AR-15 range. The effective range of an AR-15, where an average shooter can hit a vehicle-sized target, is between 400 and 600 yards, according to a survey of gun review sites. The range will be affected by the skill of the shooter, the caliber of round used, and environmental factors. Now, that's important in understanding why the shooter did not get a clean shot. And anybody that knows anything about shooting, they will, in fact, understand that, right? They will understand that when you look at the chronology that I showed from the Wall Street Journal, they showed that the shooter was climbing up a wall of some sort, jumping. Well, according to the eyewitness testimonies, he was jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and people spotted him. And you can hear people screaming in the video, "He has a gun, he has a gun." So naturally, this guy is rushing because he has to get his shot. And it's possible that the shooter heard the crowd reacting and saying he has a gun. So now he has to rush and get that shot off. Let me put that link in the chat, close this out. For anybody that knows anything about shooting, and especially as a sniper, that shot is a shot that has to be set up. That's not a shot where you can just run up, and even the most trained snipers are going to have to set that shot up. You have to zero your scope so that what you're aiming at can get hit. There are wind factors, and that's why the article states environmental factors. Those environmental factors are usually wind. It's quite possible that this guy actually did get a great shot at Trump, but it's possible that the wind could have been blowing in the direction of Trump, causing that bullet from 450 yards away to just slightly sway as it reached, Trump, to the point where he could have been aiming directly for the middle of his head. But because of the wind speed and the velocity, et cetera, from that, far away, 450 feet, then, it's possible. I'm not no expert. I'm just going based off the little bit of knowledge that I know. No, Gerard Ibn Lamont, they were saying it was 450 feet. I just played a video, and I seen that a couple times, that it was about 400 to 450 feet away. Well, you say yards. Okay, well, that's different. And I could be confusing yards with feet. I can be confusing yards with feet right now. So excuse me. I think it may have been yards, not feet, 450 yards away. But so what we do know is that those bullets struck people. And there are those that are saying that the very bullet that grazed Trump's ear actually struck someone and killed them. Now, that proving that is going to take, some time and some forensic efforts. Gerard Ibn Lamont said it. He saw a diagram where it was 130 yards. It's possible. It's possible. I guess, they're still putting that thing together insofar as the accuracy of the information. But, either way, I think that the environmental factors are what possibly And the fact that this guy, he's 20 years old, I highly doubt he's a trained sniper. He probably practiced in his backyard, and they said he had his father's gun. So, how much practice did he do? How much practice did he do? And it also goes to show you how powerful the AR is, because if this guy is not really a skilled shooter like that, for him to set up and start shooting and then graze Trump, it makes you wonder what would have happened if he had time to actually set up and factor in wind conditions and zero the scope and all of those different things. There's a possibility Trump is not here today. Trump is not here today. And the Secret Service was obviously alerted, and you can tell by the video that I just shared. And we definitely, let me hold on, because people want to jump in. Hold on. Get my brother up in here. Yeah, I just put the link in the chat, Gerard. So, there's a possibility that that man wouldn't be here today, and this country would be in chaos. And so what happens now moving forward? I already showed you that there are some white Republicans who are clearly racist that are trying to stoke racial tensions, although the shooter is clearly white. They want to do anything to blame, quote unquote, blame the black guy. So, I mean, I always tell my people, keep your head on a swivel. You might be a Trump supporter, but these people don't know that. They don't care. They view our people in one vein. Politically, if you don't have on a MAGA hat, you are a Democrat to them. And that's the way they more than likely will see any one of us. So this is for all of my people out there that do support Trump. Keep your head on a swivel, because you don't know what these crazy people might try to do in retaliation. And it's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. So, jump on, Brother Gerard, if you want to come through and share some of your insight. Let me see what my sis put in the inbox. Former classmate of Trump rally, Gumman, says he was bullied almost every day. So I don't want to play the NBC one because it might strike the channel. But let me see. A former classmate of the 20-year-old Pennsylvania man law enforcement identifies as the shooter who opened fire at former President Donald Trump's rally says he was, quote, bullied almost every day at school. Okay, so we talking about somebody that usually fits the bill of one of these social misfits, but this time their guns turned on, I guess, one of their own, because all reports are saying, and I've not seen this like on NBC or any news media via video, but I do see that on credible media sites and on Twitter. So yeah, what's going on, Brother Gerard?
Hey, brother, thanks for bringing me up, man. I wanted to discuss a little bit about, because I was explaining this to my wife, man. So I was in the service for like 23 years, man.
Yeah, I thought you was in military, so I think, but I didn't want to say it and not be sure.
Right,
but
right.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so I was in the service for 23 years. Actually, man, and I was trying to make sure I saw, because I've seen, the distance from, I've been watching this ever since yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so they show like the actual diagram of where he was shooting from and mm-hmm. where the president was, with the stage, so like the bleachers that were behind him, right? So, and according to them, they were saying, I saw anywhere between 150 yards to 130 yards. And you could just multiply, a yard is just 3 feet, right? So what's mm-hmm. that? So nonetheless, like, more than likely, it was probably what you said. Mm-hmm. Now there's like different elements when you're shooting a rifle. In the Army, we had the the four fundamentals of firing. Four fundamentals of firing. Let's make sure I say them all right. And but it all a marksmanship. Yeah, the four fundamentals. What are they? Good marksmanship. Okay, master in position. Here's the key. So the first is body position, sight picture, breathing, and trigger squeeze. Those are the four fundamentals that we get taught in the Army in regards to firing. So basically, any one of those three are off can change the trajectory of the bullet. I knew that he wasn't good because based on what he did hit, right? So he barely missed Trump, right? So that was his first. So when you shoot, when you zero a weapon in, we do it in what they call shot groups. So you want to get your shot group. They tell us you want to get like 4 out of 5 bullets within like a quarter size distance, almost like almost a quarter, a little, maybe even a silver dollar, but within that range. So that's the consistency, right? You want to be like within basically a quarter diameter of having those bullets in that. Now, if you're changing your sight picture, meaning like you're changing where you're looking at through your barrels, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't even need an optic. How close where he was, 150 meters. That's what, but we do in meters because we was NATO, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, 150, a meter and a foot are basically the same. So we are when we're zeroing in our weapon, right? When we're trying to get the front and rear sight post, that's called iron sights. That's with no optic, with no scope on it at all, right? Just rear and front sight post, right? You know what I mean? We zero our weapon in at 300 meters. So 300 meters is what the Army does it. The Marines go 500 meters. They go 200 meters more than we do. You know what I'm saying? So, but Army, so, you know what I mean? And so what we try, so anyways, the idea is that you get that rear and front sight post to, where you're, to your eyesight, right? So, and then you're aiming at the same place each time. So that's dealing with sight picture, right? Then you have body position, right? So we used to have to qualify. Well, when I came in, it was we would qualify 40 targets, 20 in the unsupported and 20 in the supported. Supported is like you got, something that you're laying your weapon on, right? You're laying your weapon on the front sight, your front sight post, or the barrel of the weapon is on somewhere it's not shifting. Then you have, you know what I mean? I always qualified best that way. My supported, I'm down there getting 20 out of 20. You know what I mean? Unsupported. Now you're on the ground and you're using your forearm, your front arm, right? Your non-trigger arm to hold the weapon up. Now you have a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You obviously have more movement.
That's right.
Movement of that front sight post, right? That front sight post is moving, and when that bullet comes out, you know what I mean? It's gonna go where it's gonna go. So the fact that he hit people in the stands, right? So you got Trump, who was at the bottom, and you got the stands that behind him, right? And he hit 3 people in the stands that were up. That would be, if you think about it from top to bottom, Trump being at the bottom, and he's hitting people at the top or all throughout. So what's happened? That barrel is going up and down like this. It's going up, and when he was shooting, you know what I'm saying, it's going up and down. You know what I mean? Hence, that's why those people at the top, because I want to say, because they had to bring the person that got shot, they had to bring him down. They all of them had to come down to the stand. You know what I'm saying? So more than likely, because I discovered all of this, and I've dealt with this, like I said, just going to the range several times, trying to figure it out myself. You know what I mean? Because when you go to, like I said, when you zero your weapon, we zeroed it in at 300 at a figurine that's on the sheet, our shot card, right? It mimics 300, but we only do it at 25 meters, which is 75 feet, right? Okay. So you know what I'm saying? We do it in groups of 3. So you shoot your first 3 bullets, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go down and let's go down to see the sight card. You know what I mean? Okay. Now it's in this, and so the figurine is dead set in a piece of the paper, but then you have 4 quadrants, and depending on where your shot group is, then you start making your adjustments left to right on the front sight and rear sight post. So maybe make 2 clips. Let's say you shot in the left quadrant. Okay, you may have to move your front sight post over two or three clicks to the right. You know what I mean? And then so you're a little bit above the man. We want to get them center mass because they teach us to shoot center mass. They don't teach us to shoot at people's head. You know what I'm saying? Shoot center mass because that's where all your organs.
So let me ask. Let me ask. That brings up an important question. Do you think even with him not being accurate, with him not being stationary, without him not hitting all of those 4 points, that if he actually aimed center mass with that, at least with that first shot, do you think he possibly would have?
I saw he did hit him, and they're not talking about it, but so Melanie King, I saw this morning. Melanie King did a show. I don't know if you are familiar with her, but she's kind of like on the right. You know, I mean, she's a black female that covers right wing topics, almost like Candace. But nonetheless, this morning they did it. They zoomed in, and you see the hole in Trump's jacket. So he did get hit. In a check. He got hit in his lapel, like right there. He got you. If you go out, you just okay. You can fact check me. But she showed it. They zoomed it in. But he has a vest on. You know what I mean? He has a vest. He has a bar. That's why he didn't. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get hurt. But you go to her channel. She has it. Let me Melanie King. I can reference it and put it in the chat. I just saw it this morning. Melanie King. She's been putting out a bunch of videos. That was just this morning. Let me see. Yep, here it said this the one. Trump hit multiple times and SS waited. Secret Service waited. So let me click on. I'm just gonna click on that just so I can give you the URL. And it's about actually because I stopped watching it. It's at, if you want to actually share screen or whatever, it's at the 703 mark.
So put the link in the back chat. And
hold on, let me see where it is. Where's the chat for this?
Hey family, y'all make sure while he's doing that, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Shout out to everybody that's that's watching right now, especially in the YouTube.
My bad, man. Hold on.
I'm seeing people I ain't seeing a good minute, so definitely shout out to the fam, man. I don't know why my hat is crooked. Shout out to the fam. Shout out to the fam. Let me see.
Yeah, here it is. I'm sorry. It's the second one, not the first one, man. I just put it in the private chat. It's a second link, and it's at 7 minutes and 3 seconds. And you zoom in, and you'll see he did shoot him in the chest.
You said at 7:20?
7:03.
7:03.
Or 7:02, 7:03.
I'm gonna go back a little bit. Pull that up. See, this is why having our own platform is important, family, so that we can do our own research. We can give the news unbiasedly without all of the weird and wacky conspiracy theories that we've been hearing. So, yeah, I mean, even in the thumbnail, we see that there appears to be a hole.
Yeah.
So let's see what this sister is saying.
Information at first, and then I even have what the press were told, the mainstream media were telling their reporters to say, and you probably will believe it because we know how corrupt the mainstream media is, but I will show you that as well. I posted this on my community tab, but this is an actual freeze frame from President Trump being pow-powed at, and this is the actual bullet that went by and grazed his ear. Some people say the angle's off because of this, that, and the other, but you have to understand perspective. But this is the unedited photo of a freeze frame of when it happened. Now, let me just say this. It could be the one that actually hit him. I walked that back. Could be the one that hit him, but it's one of them. But this one is close enough. The trajectory that hit his ear.
Yeah.
There were
Hold on. Let me pause there. That one, the fact that a camera snapped this image as this bullet, which some believes to be the actual bullet that grazed his ear. I mean, that was amazing. When I seen that at first, I thought it was doctored. I was like, nah, they trolling. But then I started to see more and more outlets, credible outlets posting it. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was amazing. All right, let's
Yeah, if you hit it back, like I said, according like you maybe go a little bit back. She might talk about the lapel.
All right, so let's go back some. Let's go about. Let me see.
That's the guy saying. Yep. So yeah, that's the diagram I was telling you about.
Okay.
Where they're saying,
Let's start there.
It's okay. He was saying that he needed his shoes, but obviously, like you saw, there was the hole in his chest, as you see here. But obviously, you better know that they're wearing a tight vest. So this is where he was holding the rally. This is where Secret Service was, and this is where the active person was. Also, this was really, really weird to me when I was down in Atlanta. They would not play this stuff on the television. I don't get it. It's very confusing. Tell me what your thoughts are.
There is a hole in Donald Trump.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think any of the outlets were trying to rush the judgment. They wouldn't even say that it was gunfire. So conspiracy theories are going to be until they get all of the information. Why aren't they saying this or why aren't they saying that?
Right, right. I remember. I mean, when I first started seeing, and YouTubers were we're talking, people were just coming up. I heard it was an Asian man. You know what I mean? People were saying that it was I'm sorry.
Oh God,
pellets, like CO2 pellets.
Oh yeah, air pellets. Yep,
air pellets. I was hearing that.
I've heard all.
You know what I mean? But what I did know, it was from a distance. That's what I was. The first thing I told my wife. I said, whatever it was, they were not
close enough.
They weren't that close, because you would have seen the crowd react to whoever that person was.
That's
what I mean? It was something like how when Reagan got shot, right? You know what I'm saying? The guy who shot Reagan, boom. You know what I'm saying?
He walked right up on him.
Right, he walked right up. It wasn't that type of situation.
That's
I could tell that it was from a distance. I said, I knew this is from a distance. Then when they showed the distance, man, I'm like, oh, that's an easy shot for somebody who's trained to do it. Because like I said, we would have to, we have the closest. So the way in the Army, right, we have you can use a paper target, or you can use the targets that you shoot down and you hit it and it goes down, right? You know what I mean? And so you know what I'm saying? So literally, you'll be in a foxhole, or you know what I'm saying, again, the 50 comes up. Man, you could just point. You don't even really got to aim at 50. At the 50 meter and 100, you really don't have to aim. You know what I'm saying? You could pretty much shoot from the hip. And hit the 50 all day long. You know what I'm saying? And 100, not too much. So the targets we had the 50, the 100, then the 150, 200, 250, 300. Now that 300, man, that thing looks so small way back there. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine.
It looks so small way back there, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then if it's not a paper target, even a paper target, you can't see when the hole go through it. You know what I'm saying? But either or, let's say you actually shooting it, you're at the range and you shooting that, you saying you can see the 50 go down. You know what I'm saying? The 50, boom, you hit it, goes down. 100, boom, hit it. Now that 200, 250, 300 was where my problems would be at. You know what I mean? Because you'll shoot it and you're like, damn, I don't know. Because what happens, it'll stay up for so long, and then then it goes down, and you be like, damn, did I knock it down? Or did it go down on its own? It was like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like an instantaneous, like the 50, 100, 150, you shoot, boom, it goes down. You're like, okay, yeah, it's almost instantaneous. That 300 is kind of like, boom, maybe like a half second later, you know what I'm saying? Or sometimes you can see like, if it's like, they got quote unquote, like, sand and everything, right? Because you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You can see, if you didn't hit it, you can see, you know what I'm saying? You look to the left, a little bit to the right.
That's right.
Move, you know what I'm saying? Just move over a little bit. That's when you talk about windage, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I know, and the elements. But the 150, well, I'm telling that I'm just my personal experience. That 150, 150, you don't have those type of concerns if you're trained. If you're doing everything correctly.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? If you're doing everything correctly, you don't have those type of concerns. It's like I said, it's almost like point and shoot. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not as far as you would think it would be, or what have you. And this is with iron sights. Now, if you got an optic, that's magnifying everything closer.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So like when I became a team leader, right, we got these things called ACOGs, right? And I think it was like 4 times magnification. The ACOG. So that 300 was way closer than I'm doing with iron sights. Iron sights is just the front and rear, you know what I'm saying, sight posts. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking through the rear in the front, And with iron sights is literally just a little piece of metal, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And again, you can do it with no optic, you know what I'm saying? Because it's again, but like I said, more likely than not, what was happening, and based on like I said, he hit, you know, he hit 1, 2, 3, well, say 1, 2, 3 like that, because he said he fired 5 to 8 rounds. That's what it was said, that he fired up to 8 rounds, right? You know what I mean? And my only thing is, like you were saying, he was, you know what I'm saying, he probably was exhausted. You know what I mean? More likely than not, he did not. He's probably shooting on his elbows. He probably didn't have nothing he could prop up. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he didn't bring anything with him, right? So, you know, something like a sandbag or some sort of object.
He wouldn't have had time to do that.
He wouldn't have time to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or plus you got to carry it with you. You know what I mean? Unless he had a tripod. Unless it was a tripod. Now, you know what I'm saying? You could have the bipedal legs that you can attach to the bottom, unless he had that. But if he had that, then his shot would have been a lot more tighter. You know, more likely than not. Another thing they were saying, it was his father's weapon, right? So again, like if you zeroed your weapon to your eyesight, right? To your, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? I should be able to still hit really close things, you know what I mean? But further out, you know what I mean? I can't pick up your weapon and start shooting. You know what I mean? And be accurate. I may have to adjust a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what's, like you said, like the distance, the wind, or whatever, you know what I mean? If I'm seeing, okay, if I could see that, oh, that one went to the left a little bit, I need to either, you know, kind of, they call it Kentucky windage, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you shooting a little bit to the left, so maybe you should aim a little bit to the right, so that you know what I'm saying, because that's how that bullet is coming out that barrel. You know what I mean? When you know what I'm saying. So that, but then again, it's still same sight picture. You know what I'm saying? But just move a little bit to the right. Okay, boom. You know what I mean? It, you know, in the case of like you had to shoot somebody's weapon, that you know you just had to pick it up, or they say you can do what they call a battlefield zero. A battlefield zero is when you put, you know what I'm saying? So the front and rear sight posts, they elevate up and down. They elevate up and down. Like, well, if I do the camera like this, they elevate up and down like this. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, depending on how you look, how you get that, you know, that's when you're zeroing, you're trying to get it to where, you know, based on where you put your face on a bus stop. You know what I'm saying? Where you put your face on the bus stop, you want to try to make sure that our front side post and our rear side post all mirror and are the same and are good, and you're hitting what you're supposed to be hitting. So that, you know what I mean? So you got all those type of, you know, elements to it, or what have you. Any of those things change? Saying who good graces, yeah. Tripod. Well, I'm just saying the point that I'm making is that more likely than not, he wasn't shooting from a supported position, right? He was unsupported. And then, you know, then fatigue, you know, I know, like I said, for me, it was always harder to shoot in an unsupported position than it will be in a supported, you know, because you have those factors now, especially longer distances. But like I said, 150 in the back, like anybody who regularly goes to the range and shoots competitively, it wouldn't have been hard at all. Not, you know, it's not like a sniper type thing. You know what I mean? Snipers, real snipers can shoot at 1,000 to 2,000, like a click, which is 1,000 meters or more. That's what Army snipers go do. You know what I mean? Am I making sense, man?
Oh yeah, I wanted to give you a close up because people, you know, especially on our side of things, right? This is not information that a lot of people are familiar with at all. You know, this isn't information that the average person knows, especially in our communities, right?
Right.
And white people, you know, and I don't like to do that a lot of times. Like, you know, white people be well, the fact of the matter is they know a lot more about guns and how you just explained it than we do. Right. That military experience, many of them that are trained up, they are in militias, they have some form of military background. They probably was JROTC, ROTC, etc.
Or they got land where they can go and shoot.
That's
you
right.
Know, like for instance, if I want, I can go get. Funny enough, I don't even own any weapons, but you know what I mean, because again, it's expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, like, you know, how many brothers can get into, you know, buying AR-15, depending on what brand, what type, what all the little tricks and, you know, things you can add. Man, you talking about anywhere 800. That's the low end, up to $2,000 to $3,000.
I pay like 620.
Yeah. Okay.
About 620.
Right, right.
620.
You know what I'm saying? That's on the lower end of the game. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact.
You
That
know
was
what I
on
mean?
it was
So
on
like,
sale.
right. So that depends if you got the Picatinny, you know what I'm saying, rail system, you know what I mean, versus just the hand guards. You know, so you so the Picatinny is where you can add like all these different accessories,
That's
right?
right.
You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? But some of the older Colt and older ARs, you know what I'm saying? They got the hand guards, you know what I mean? You can't put all of that stuff on it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I said, when you got the the optics and all of that, man, it's an expensive game, let alone. So in my state, in Michigan, I think it's only like 2 ranges in the state that you can that you could go to and shoot like how I'm telling you, like how the military do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Or you got like
that's shocking with all of the militias that's in the state of Michigan, man.
I'm sure people, you got private land, it don't
I
matter.
was about to say that.
You know what I'm saying? Private land, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
That's another time we can invoke white, right? White money. White money.
Right. You know what I mean?
A lot of
your land is up to you. But I'm thinking like I'm saying, like, shooting at the like shooting a target at 300 meters back. That's 900 feet. You know what I'm saying? You need 900 feet, and plus, like you said, you have to have, make sure you're not hitting nobody or anything like that, because bullets travel. You know what I'm saying? I want to say, they say like a MR6, M4 can travel. The bullet can maximum range, I think it was like 1,600 meters, max range. Max range. I'm just thinking of a range of a M4. These used to be stuff I remember I had to learn in sergeant school and all of that. I don't forgot all this stuff, man. So it said the M4 carbine. This is what the military uses, right? 5.56 millimeter assault rifle has a maximum firing range of 3,600 meters or 3,900 yards. However, its effective firing range is 500 meters or 550 yards for individual or point targets and 600 meters for area targets. So what that means is a point target is like when you're shooting at a person, a personnel. That's point target. An area target is like, you're shooting at a truck or you're shooting at, you know what I'm saying?
I was about to say you just spraying up some shit, but go ahead.
Right,
use that technical military.
Right. You know what I mean? And there's certain weapons that are designed for just like, for instance, like we call it the saw, right? The M60 machine gun, but that was replaced by the I can't believe I'm losing my track. I think it's 2 something. But anyways, there's a squad automatic weapon, right? And so that is a true automatic weapon. And that means that you hold down, you press the trigger, you only have to hold the trigger down, and the bullets are just gonna spray out. The difference with semi-automatics, you only get as many bullets as you pull the trigger for. You know what I'm saying? You can only go as fast as your finger can press the trigger. So that's the difference with a semi-automatic versus a fully automatic. You know what I mean? And so the squad automatic, I want to say it's an M260. I don't know, man. Anyways, make a long story short, that's more of an area target. You're using that to just like, so we try to suppress multiple people. You know what I mean? You just want to spray and keep the enemy down, so your maneuver element can move around and flank them from the side. You know what I'm saying? A mortar weapon. When when they drop the mortarmen, right? They again, that's that's an area weapon. That's not a point. You know what I'm saying? It's like we want to get a grenade. A grenade is an area weapon. You know what I'm saying? I throw it and it gets so many people within a maximum range. You know what I'm saying? Versus like a point will be an M4 or sniper weapon. You know what I'm saying? A sniper rifle. You know what I mean? You're trying to hit the actual person. You're aiming and hitting the person, right? So yeah, that's the difference between point and area. But nonetheless, so like,
well, let me. I want to jump in real quick because there's a bunch of things that's going through my brain as you're talking about this. One of which is always us having our own freedmen militia. That's number one.
I believe in that.
And listening to you give this breakdown, it just amplifies that thought in my mind. But another thing that I really want to point out is that there's a book Reconstruction by Eric Foner. I believe it's that book. And in that book, he's speaking about after the Civil War and how our freedmen men, those men that went and fought alongside the Union, that fought for their country pretty much.
Right.
That fought for their country. There was a sense of pride when these men went back home. See, this is not being told in modern day.
Right.
When you ask me when I was young, would I go to the military? I'm like, hell no, I ain't dying for this, fighting for this
Right.
damn
White man's
country.
army.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Right.
So, but it wasn't until like more recent time with Brother Logic, who, former military sergeant, special ops, and listening to him, somebody that I know break this thing down to me. Then I'm telling my sons, like, yo, go to the military. My son saying it sounding exactly like me at the same exact age. I'm
Right.
like, fighting and dying. And then I put him, the difference was I was able to put my son on the phone with Brother Logic.
Got him.
Logic talked to him for about a good 30, 35 minutes. By the time Logic got finished talking to him, my son was like, you know what, Dad? I'm going to really, really think about going into the army.
Right.
So I think this part of the conversation, I know we were talking about a specific topic, which is Trump and the assassination attempt. We can't not ever neglect to take time to do self-promotion for the things that we feel are necessary for ourselves. So when the opportunity arises for that, I think that we should speak to it. And I think that, just listening to you, I can hear the excitement coming back. Like you was reliving them glory days. You know what I'm saying?
Man, boy.
Yeah, bro.
Man, like I said, I was an infantryman. I didn't start off as an infantryman. I started off as military intelligence. People were like, man, you went backwards.
Oh wow.
But honestly, to be honest with you, man, it was
some dudes just got soldier in them. That's all it is.
Yeah, man.
They
It's
just
like
got soldier in them.
It was for me. It was freaking. You didn't have to deal with all the politics. Being in a co-ed, you know what I'm saying? MOS. And MI is very, you could imagine, there's levels to the game. I tell people, man, the military, there's cultures within culture. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a general army culture, and then there's culture within, the different branches of the army, right? You know what I'm saying? The different, from field artillery, from the armor guys, the tanks, you know what I'm saying, to the scouts, to the infantrymen, to and you name it. Like every different speciality, they kind of got their own thing, and it's competition.
That's just how it goes. That's right.
It's competition, because like for instance, like the cavalry guy, right? The guys who are in the armored trucks and tanks and everything. They got they have a saying, hey, death before dismount. You know what I mean? Now, you know what I mean? Like we ain't getting out this vehicle. We not, you know what I'm saying? We not walking. We ain't pounding like you all, you know what I'm saying? Like the infantry, right? We got to walk to everywhere we go for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right. Y'all got to train. What you train with, like the 50-pound backpacks on or something like that?
It was like 35, man.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? It was 35. And also I did I'm also be frank with you, like I think I switched over probably about 8 years into my 23 year service to infantry in like 2008. And also I was in the Guard. I wasn't active duty at that time. I don't know if I would have done active duty infantryman. See, like I was in the Guard for that time. I was an infantryman. So, and we go up to the training area, come into your armory, go up to the training area. We was back home by Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? So outside of like our AT, right? And then I got deployed as an infantryman to Iraq and Kuwait in 2010. But even so, it wasn't. We were kind of doing more of we were convoy escort team, so we were in trucks. So we were doing more of like an MP mission than a natural infantry mission, right? So I didn't have to pound rocks or pound dirt. You know what I'm saying, or anything like that. I was in the vehicle. So it's much different, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I remember those times and there's funny stories and all of that good stuff. I'll never forget it. Wayne Fonz, he was, the ex-coach of the Detroit Lions. he was, after he had retired from, being in football, being coaching and stuff, he was like, a guy asked me, do I miss, being a football coach? He said, man, that's like asking a garbage man, do we miss taking out the garbage? You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, but what you miss is the camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? The fellas, you miss the guys. Right. You know what I'm saying? You miss that, that type of stuff. But actually, do I miss being in, having to, go on my weekends when it's like, oh, man, it's a concert or something going on, and I'm like, oh, I got drilled this weekend, or you know what I mean? I don't miss that, man. That type of stuff. I don't miss, what I'm saying, freaking. I'll never forget, man. It was rain. We were doing a squad training exercise, so it was like 9 of us, and we were simulating, what a squad would do, right? And so we had to walk in the woods and do all of that, and and assault and support by fire, assault maneuver, all this other stuff, man. So we had ran that lane about 2 or 3 times, and like and we were walking like a clique, you know what I'm saying? We walking about, you know what I'm saying? You start off at one point, and you doing, you walk, you going through the woods and everything, and the whole nine, man. And we had just finished, and I guess we were waiting for transport, because you got garrison and you got the field. The field is where you do all your work. Garrison, you come back if you going to come back to garrison. That's where you got the barracks and you take a shower, all that good stuff. So transport was still waiting to come for us, man. And I swear to God, it started raining like hurricane style rain, man. It was and lightning. They said, "Hey, man, y'all just get on the ground." I'm like, "What? Just get on the ground, lay flat." You know what I'm saying? It's pouring down. I'm just like, bro, what is going on? What has my life gotten to, bro?
You start questioning life at that point.
I'm just like, are you serious, bro? I'm sitting here on the ground just getting rained on, man. Like it was, like I said, like a hurricane style type, thunderstorm type rain. You know what I mean? Just sitting there, right? But hey, suck it up and drive on is what they say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And see, I love this, man. And it's so crazy because that was one of the things we wanted to do is, me and Logic used to speak about it all the time, have, former and, current military come on the stream and talk to the experience of it. I'm always trying to get my youngest son. He'll be 19 this August to go into the military. I got a recruiter that texts me all the time, and I forward him the text. And he hit me back like 2 weeks ago. He was like, "Nah, Dad, I'm seriously thinking about it." I'm like, yeah, man, go see the world and go learn some different skills. I sent him what's that initial training called? Boot camp. And basic training. Basic training. I said, once you get past all this, man, these dudes yelling in your face and the spit bubbles popping in your eyes. Once you get past all that, I said, look. Now everybody cool, there's camaraderie, everybody chill. And I explained to him, I said, I've obviously not been in the military, but I can look at what I'm seeing and interpret it as they want to make sure that you understand that there's a hierarchy. Just like I'm your father, just like you have sisters that are younger than you and you have other siblings that are older than you, there's a hierarchy. And a lot of what they're doing is psychological to see if I have to yell at you especially for something that you're doing wrong, are you going to take it or not? Because if you can't take it, you may mess up the whole mission and get everybody killed.
Exactly. So the main thing, they know people coming in as individuals and they're trying to break you down, and so you all can think as a group, work as a team, work as a group. Well, I'll never forget, man, when I came to basic training, the drills. So you arrive at reception, and that's when you're getting off the plane. The bus brings you to reception. I went to Fort Leonard Wood, they used to call it Fort Lost in the Woods, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. That's where I did my basic training at. And reception is not, it's not too bad, you know what I mean? Because you got other privates and stuff, some sergeants. It's not too bad. You're getting all your shots, you're getting your uniform, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Then, so what's happening? Because these drill sergeants, they're going through cycles. You know what I'm saying? So basic training basically is 8 to 10 weeks. You know what I mean? And so they're going through, and they got they get a group, and then they get them trained up, and get them to AIT and get them wherever where they're going. AIT is Advanced Individual Training, so that depends on what your job is. You know what I'm saying? Now, since I was MI, my AIT wasn't at Fort Leonard Wood. I went to Fort Huachuca, Arizona. That's where MI, schools are, right? And even as you progress in your career as an enlisted or intelligence officer, because we have three types of ranks, or classifications, right? You have an officer, you have a warrant officer, which is like kind of in between enlisted and enlisted, and then you have enlisted. You have junior enlisted, that'll be that's E1 through E4. And then your senior enlisted is pretty much, E5 and above, all the way up to E9, right? Your sergeant major. You know what I mean? So freaking, man, they, like I said, when our drill sergeants came and got us, like I said, it was okay. It wasn't too bad. It's like, all right, they put us on some detail you call KP, kitchen patrol. You had to do that and working, washing dishes and things of that nature, blah, blah, blah. And I would rotate. Now, if you get in trouble, you might get KP extra, get extra duty. You know what I mean? They had a lot of different ways. I remember they said, "Hey, we don't have to whip your butt behind. I know where I can hit you at. I'm gonna hit you at your pay and your time." You know what I'm saying? So when if you act up or you break the rules or whatever the case may be, or you've been insubordinate or whatever, you could lose your rank. You could which will mean you lose your money, as well as they could put you on extra duty. And that's your time. Any free time that you get. You know what I mean? Once you're done with the duty day, if you got in trouble, you had to do extra duty. Maybe you had to do command CQ, commander's quarters or whatever, or like I said, extra KP and all that type of stuff. They can make your life really hard if and that's the thing I tell people. I said, should they go into the military? I said it depends, man. If you can follow instructions and directions, you know what I'm saying, and you respect authority, bro, it's a breeze. It's a freaking breeze, man. But if you can't, bro, they're gonna make you pay. And so the drill sergeants, when they came and picked us up, right, they picked this group up, and I never get it because my cousin's husband's brother he was an engineer, and now that's also where they go to Fort Lee. He said, listen, I'm telling you, when you get in the cattle cars, because they picked us up in cattle cars, like for real, I couldn't believe. I was like, he was right, bro. These like these, you know what I'm saying, like where they transport cattle, they had all of us get up in there. You know what I mean? And we had all our what they call our TA-50, right? That's all of our gear we're gonna be using for the time that we're here. Our tents, shovels, all of that. Uniforms. You know what I'm saying? All of that, man. And then they took us to CIF to get some more, right? So I think at reception, we only had gotten our clothes. We only had gotten our uniforms, but we hadn't got our TA-50. So they they took us. We got in the cattle car. He said, once you cross those railroad tracks, he said, that's when real basic begins. That's when it begins. And I swear to God, he was on point. Because we went to CIF, man, and they was yelling at us and everything. We trying to get our gear. I remember one time, one drill sergeant came up. Hey, you moving too fast? You moving too slow? He kicked the dudes. He took the gear. The guy had all his gear inside of his bag, right? His duffel bag. He poured it out on the ground, was kicking it around. I was like, oh my God, bro.
Hold on, let me jump in. So and there's a reason why I really wanted you to keep going and getting into that, because I want to set it up. I really, for those of you who are watching, especially Friedman, I'm sorry. No, I don't know. But I wanted to all. It got to all be Friedman, because I'm trying to inspire young Friedman to come into this space so that they could learn and join the military, enlist. Don't listen to the scary stuff, because we listened to a bunch of that stuff growing up, and it really held many of us back. I mean, there are people that went and made careers based off of the things that they learned in military. There was people that said, I learned whatever it was more than I would have learned, and I learned in the military better than what I would have learned in a technical college or even university, depending on the thing that you were studying. And for the most part, it becomes a career. And that's one of the things that I'm stressing to my youngest son. I really want him to get in the to become enlisted and go through that process and learn about it. And I think that we need to push for our sons to do that. That's something that we are going to do on this side of things as we build out. We want to make sure that we have our own form of a JROTC. And for the freedmen, I even have some designs drawn up. I don't know if I have them saved on my computer, but I might pull them up in a few minutes. But yeah, man. So look, because I want to, I know people listening, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving hearing the stories. I could hear you reliving it, and I want people to feel that as well. That there's like I could give you some hood stories. That's exciting, right?
Exactly, man. Yeah.
This isn't that. And the thing is 1,000 or 1,000,000 me's that could give 1,000,000 hood stories that's going to almost align. But it's very few yous that can give the stories and the accounts that you just shared with everybody that's watching right now. We got 165 people watching right now, mostly from Twitter. Yeah, mostly from Twitter. YouTube, we still building the YouTube channel. So them numbers is kind of low. But on Twitter is where we get the bulk of our views.
But speaking to what you were saying, earlier, and why we're trying to connect the dots between military and the freedom struggles that Black people have done. I mean, the Deacons of Defense. A lot of those brothers were ex-military. Bobby Seale, he was ex-military. You know what I'm saying? One half of the founders of the Black Panther Party. You know what I mean? It all, like I said, it all depends on what what you take out of it. My career personally, it was up and down, and was mixed. You know what I'm saying? I was definitely more delusional towards the end of my time. Because that's I got out in 2020. You know what I mean? That's when all of the George Floyd's is happening, Trump's in office. You know what I mean? Compared to like how I felt when I was in '97 when I joined, coming straight out of high school, and to 2020, man, I was just like, I'm not feeling this. This country is, you know what I mean? Like, I was glad I was done. I was glad I was towards the end of it. But all in all,
and it's understandable.
Yeah, but all in all, it's all about what you can, what you can get out of it. Still, it's one of the few institutions, that are available, and they do this on purpose. You know what I'm saying? To make it available, you can be a middle, basically come from poverty and lift yourself out of it. You know what I'm saying? One of the few institutions, right?
Yeah,
a GED in high school.
Wait, real quick. That's right. Look, that was one of the things that when Logic was breaking down to my son, and Logic had broke the stuff down to me before. I said, bro, had I known this before I turned 36, I would have joined the military. That's just a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah.
So, some of us, we got that warrior spirit in us. And for the most part, it's been misdirected, and we pretty much used it on ourselves in the hoods that we grew up in. And, we could have taken that energy and utilized it elsewhere for people that don't like us for whatever reason, and even that has layers and nuance that we could get into, some possibilities of why those things overseas are the way that they are, but nevertheless, they are the way that they are right now. And we need to start transitioning more of our young men into the military. So definitely, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. If anything, National Guard, you'll say you got the reserves option. You know what I'm saying? For those who, you have, one leg in, one leg out. You know what I mean? I'm glad, like again, most of my career was in the National Guard in Florida and Michigan, or what have you. And it was like, I was living my civilian. I got to live civilian life, but at times, especially my unit in Florida, I really liked them a lot. You know what I mean? And for a while, I was actually traveling back and forth. That's the uniform.
Yeah, it was just something I played with.
Yeah. That's the Union.
I remember showing this to brother. I definitely did the Union Blue. I definitely had the Union Blue. And I remember showing Logic. Logic was like, "Nah, man, I could design something way better than that." I was like, well,
that'll be like a dress uniform. You know what I'm saying? That's a dress uniform type of formal uniform. In fact, that's I saw 4 uniform changes when I was in the service. So my 23 years I saw 4 uniform changes when it came to our regular uniforms that we wore every day, our combat uniforms, right? And then I saw it I want to say it was 2 2 to 3. Yeah, it was 2 to 3 dress uniforms. We when I came in, there was the dress greens, and then they went to like kind of like a Civil War era type blues. But by that time, I was in the Guard, and I didn't get, so the National Guard, you don't get a clothing allowance. Like when you're at active duty, they give you a clothing on the anniversary of when you come in. You get a clothing allowance to replenish your first initial issue, right? And that's why, so there's another thing, like they'll tell you, when I was active duty, you would have to do inspections. You know what I mean? Uniform inspections, barracks inspections. You know what I mean? You're out there, or sometimes do a change of command. You may have to wear your dress uniforms or what have you. Now if you were missing something, you know what I mean, they were like, hey, you're gonna have to go pay for it and go get it. You say, hey, sorry, I don't got the money. You get a clothing allowance, don't you? You're like, yeah, so whatever that item was, you're gonna have to go get it. Or you going out to the field or something, and you lost your canteen cup, your second, you know what I'm saying? Or especially when you're infantry, they make you do these inspections on your TA-50 gear, because it's like, hey, when we go out to the field or we go on mission, you got to have your equipment. You're responsible for your equipment. So as being also, you would have to go through these inspections. And when I became a sergeant, I would have to do these inspections. You know what I mean? And I mean, okay, got to get out. I may be over 2 or 3 guys. My team. All right, let's bring everything out. Have them lay out. We'll be on the drill floor in the armory. They lay everything out. And we have to go one by one. Tick. Okay.
Let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you. Did you place like any special emphasis on keeping your boots shine? Because that was one thing, Brother Logic.
That became less of an issue when they changed the uniforms, because we went from black boots. So we went from black boots when we had our BDUs, our battle dress uniforms, used to have black boots, and you would have to shine them and all of that. That was an issue, right? Then when we changed over to the ACUs, right, they went from black boots to desert boots, the brown ones. And you didn't, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't have to have them shine. I was so happy about that, bro.
Hey, Brother Logic used to have them joints. He used to just put pictures in the inbox of his boots. What the hell is
it? Man. Yeah. What I'm saying?
I guess that was a part of, it's like
during the time that he was in, because like we went to we went to ACUs, which was like the green pattern freaking uniform, the ACUs, and then we went to something else. I forgot the name of it, man. It's all coming to me. We went to a different uniform, but yeah. So that was right around Bush, when Bush became president. That's when we changed from having to wear the battle dress uniform, the ones in the 80s, right? The 80s and 90s. We went from that to which included black boots, and you would have to shine your boots up. Well, I used to hate, there was cats, they would they really got into shining their boots up. And this another thing we were talking about. Remember I said you got different types of troops, different things. So like you gotta, so like the guys who were garrison, right? They were always clean. Cats used to starch their uniforms, bro, where their uniform could be standing up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Standing up. Now, infantry cat, you know what I mean? That they're gonna have their field uniform when they go to the field, because you literally digging in the dirt, getting rained on. You know what I'm saying? Sweet. You know what I mean? That uniform ain't gonna be all starched up. So what would happen sometimes? Because like I said, when I was in active duty, I was MI, so I was a garrison soldier. I never went to the field. My job was real world. It wasn't. I was intelligence. I went to a skiff. You know what I mean? A secret compartment sensitive facility, man. You know what I mean? My job was 100%. We were collecting intelligence on foreign, foreign and allied, right? You know what I'm saying? So, I had a shift. I had a shift.
So you basically was a part of something that was important in with this government, and that's great. So look, bro, I want to, because I didn't plan on,
all right, bro.
Yeah, and I ain't plan on being on here that long.
Yeah,
so but being that you're up here, I do want to ask you, and number one, first and foremost, thank you for your service to this country. That I don't think that freedmen, military personnel, current or former, gets enough praise, especially from our own. So if I can, salute,
All right, bro.
you know.
Yeah,
So
man.
that's
Them
first
Buffalo
and
soldiers,
foremost.
man.
You know, that's
Buffalo
right.
soldiers
That's
and,
right.
and them colored troops, man.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's right. They
Without
laid the
them, we wouldn't be here.
foundation. And we
Without
got to
them,
make
we
sure
wouldn't be here, bro.
That's right. We got to make sure we start
Mhm.
moving our people back into that. We got to
Yeah,
make, because
exactly.
I'll just listen to you and I can
Mhm.
hear the enthusiasm. And it's funny because our numbers was dropping on YouTube, but they're just growing on Twitter. So the Twitter numbers is going up like crazy. So, and it's a good thing because people get to hear, you know, military. And I don't care what tone of your skin is. There are
Right.
people listening to you right now, and they are reliving those experiences, you know, no matter what unit or branch of the military that they were in, they were reliving certain moments. So I want to thank you for that and give you honors, brother. So, but my question is, what do you think about the direction of this country moving forward with the attempted assassination on Trump? And you know, the guy was a Republican, man. He was so they say, allegedly. Let's say that. Allegedly, they pulled his voter registration card, and it, from everything that I've seen, even credible media sources on Twitter, they showed that this guy is a Republican, allegedly. So, what are your thoughts?
He donated to Biden $15 to the Act Blue when he was 17.
Okay.
So like so this, you know, I got that from Candace Owens. So yeah, they're this whatchamacallit is going, man. I'm just saying I watch it all, bro. You know what I'm saying? I watch it all.
I ain't no fan of Candace's.
I'm not a fan, but you got to get intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to know your enemy, bro. You know what I mean? That's for that type of thing. Like that's part of our military, you know, days, man. It's like what are they saying? What are their talking points? Because how do you defeat them? You know what I mean, or combat their talking points if you don't know what their talking points are. You know what I'm saying? You can see their strategy. We call them TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures. That's what we, you know what I'm saying? We learn what what the enemy's doing. What are their tactics, techniques, and procedures? You know what I mean? This is all part, you know, that's you got to know what, listen. So I listen just to see what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, not that I agree with it, but I'm like, oh, okay. You know, so, but anyway, but you said, to answer your question, I don't think it's going too well, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm actually really worried that you know that this can really get, you know, dangerous real quick. You know, with the political environment or what have you, and like I don't know who, you know, like here's the thing. I've been feeling this ever since the convictions, ever since they convicted him in New York on those trumped up, you know, no pun intended, charges. Those charges were trumped up, bro. That was,
said they were, I disagree. Right, real quick.
No.
Wait, hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree because Michael Cohen did time for that same thing, right? Trump was what was that term they used? Not defendant A, individual A, or something like that. In that particular case when it came to Michael Cohen, and he wound up doing 4 years. So that's why I didn't think those charges were trumped up, right? It's like, okay, are you going to make Michael Cohen do time just to get to Trump? And for me, it's a stretch, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so that's, you know, that factors into how I pray. But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, again, so my thoughts on it, the reason why I feel, you know, to explain why I feel this way, and again, I'm no Trump supporter by no means. I'm definitely not a Biden supporter. I'm not a Trump. I'm a freeman. You know what I mean? You know, and to me, if you're not about reparations, you're an enemy to me. You know what I'm saying? That's my political litmus test. You know, when it comes down, are you for reparations? If you're not for reparations, and neither of those persons are for. So both of them, are the same thing. So, but I like to call balls and strikes. And so here's the thing. Those charges were misdemeanors, and they have fallen out of their statute of limitation. That's one thing. And so the idea was that we're going to, the only way they could become felonies, right, And honestly, it was one transaction that they did it, 34 times based on the bookkeeping. It's not, so even that is ridiculous. But okay, this is something that nobody would have, what I'm saying, the business world never really gets ever prosecuted, even at a misdemeanor stage, let alone a felony. And they had to come in, and the logic behind why they made it a felony, because they said any misdemeanors that are done in the act of a felony can be charged as a felony. Well, here's the thing. And so what was the felony? What was the felony that he did? So the felony was that, quote unquote, he did this to this was a federal elections issue. He paying hush money by itself is not a crime. People do it all the time. You could pay hush money to somebody. That's not a crime. What do you Bill? This is the Republicans bill. They say, well, Bill Clinton paid off, these women before, in civil lawsuits. That's not illegal in and of itself, paying hush money. But the argument was being made, he paid hush money, so this won't come out in the public, and therefore he fooled the American public in relation to a federal in relation to the election. But the thing is that, but that's not. But the state of New York doesn't have jurisdiction over federal elections. So who should have brought him up on that? The Federal Election Commission should have brought him up on those charges. But guess what? They decided not to. They refused to have the FEC be to testify to that. You know what I'm saying? The chairman of the FEC was barred from being able to testify to that very same fact. So the felony that, quote unquote, that allowed these misdemeanors to be charged, to be raised up to misdemeanors. To allow these misdemeanors to be raised up to felonies was never charged. It was never charged. So you got to go through this legal jujitsu to even get to this point. Because, like I said, because as a misdemeanors on their own, basically illegal bookkeeping, right? Legal services were charged to Trump. You know what I mean? And again, it wasn't him personally; it was his accountant. You know what I'm saying? So that was another degree of separation. It's my accountant.
I gotta look into it a little bit more, because I looked into it at one point, and I was like,
"Go ahead."
But we didn't think that, number one, we didn't think that he was going to be found guilty. And me and Ali was literally, Ali and Josh was literally, I think Josh was on with us on the phone. And Ali was like, man, they ain't going to be found. He ain't going to. I was like, oh, whoa, something just came in. I got a notification that said they're deliberating right now. And like 30 minutes later, we still on the phone. I was
count
like,
one, count two, count three,
like,
count four.
So I don't know. Maybe I got to do a deep enough dive into it. And I think that these conversations need to happen. So, and I definitely want to have roundtables when situations like this occur. And we would love to have you on, obviously. One of the things that definitely has to happen for all of you who are of the freedman class, that, and if you are struggling with what that term freedman means, that means your ancestors are from this country and that they were emancipated from the institution of chattel slavery in this country. And you have military experience. Hit me up, man. If you're on Twitter, hit me up. Let's build. I would like to put a show together, maybe once a month, where we have the brothers come on and talk about military experience and why it's so important for our youth to join the armed forces, why it's important for our youth to join law enforcement.
Right.
Know that I can't imagine me growing up, right? Just using me. I grew up in the hood and like, I'm about to go to the police academy.
Yeah.
Everybody in my hood would be like, what? Man, ain't nobody talking to me no more after.
Maybe the fire department, man. Maybe the fire department, EMS.
They might say
I feel that way. I feel that way even today. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Police.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I thought about becoming a sheriff's deputy. I did think about it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that because of the stigma.
The institution itself, man.
That's right.
The institution itself is like, you could go in as a good cop, but the bad cops ain't gonna let you be a good cop. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing of it. Like,
well, I mean, maybe the OGs in the hood you know, the brothers that go through those institutions and sisters, you know, they come back and holler at the OGs, you know, like, look, y'all can't be like them people. Don't let them do to y'all. I remember one day we was in Queens and my dude Slim, he had to go see his parole officer on Jamaica Ave. And this cop, we was sitting there. He just really had to run in and run back out because he wasn't staying to do his full thing. So I'm like, yo, I hope the Giuliani had just became mayor. So, you know, the cops was in New York. I mean, they was going crazy.
Extra. Yeah.
So it was a brother out there, and he rolled up on a cop. He rolls up on us. He was like, yo, man, I got to give y'all a ticket. I'm like, yo, officer, I could just move. He was like, nah, I got to give y'all a ticket, man. And my people's in the car, they start complaining. They're like, yo, that's fucked up, man. You know, Uncle Tom. And I just looked back. I was like, chill, man. You know, some of these people, they get in these positions because they chose to become pets for these racist whites. And like, I did this whole psychological thing. And then when I got finished talking, I looked back up at dude, and he looked at me. He tore the ticket out. He was like, go ahead, man. It just
you shamed him. You shamed him out of giving him.
I shamed him out of giving the ticket, right?
Hey, you know what I was gonna say, man, is what I was gonna say, like, you know, that obviously that was a thinking that, you know, us thinking of, hey, maybe, you know, we have more representation in the police force, you know, black cops, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, that was a thinking back in the 70s and 80s, right? And, I mean, but look what it brought us, man. It brought us Freddie Gray. You know what I'm saying? Freddie Gray, bro. Most of those cops was black. You know what I'm saying?
and you know what? Real quick, look. See, and that's the difference with New York. And that's what I was gonna bring up. The dynamic between New York and Baltimore is different.
Yeah,
because New York is not a black city.
Now Detroit is different. Detroit is a little bit better.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I've been in Detroit, and all of my interactions with the police in Detroit was with white cops.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
But how did they treat you? But how did they treat you? Did they treat you?
One of them was a real asshole. I just gotta say, he's a real asshole. He reminded me of a typical New York cop. You know, so yeah, man. That's the one. That's at least the one I can remember. That one that was an asshole. But all of my interactions with Detroit PD were cops, and now I knew some of them because of the crew that we was rolling with in Detroit. It was a rap group by the name of Nothing to Lose, and they're the head of that team. His name was Cat, Big Cuz. He passed like 2 years ago. So for those of you who know about Detroit and the hip hop underground scene, Nothing to Lose, Cheddar Boys, etc., etc. I was out there when all that was popping off.
Okay, got it. Definitely I definitely heard of Cheddar Boys before.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so we I mean, you know, they was on some black mafioso type tip out there. So I was able to meet some of the officers that rocked with them dudes that went to school with them. And so far as interactions, like getting pulled over and all that, it was always a white cop.
Yeah. See, Detroit, you know, Mayor Coleman Young brought in all the black cops primarily into Detroit. And he changed the, you know what I'm saying, he pretty much changed DPD's, like, you know, stance with the community. Like DPD is probably one of the better, you know, organizations when it comes to policing. In fact, you know, because they get, you know, brought into other cities, and, you know, the train, because one, it's very active. You know what I'm saying? It's a very active police force or what have you. In fact, what ends up happening is like the suburb. This is what guys would do, because I was also being in the military and being infantry. The natural inclination for guys is to go over and be police officers, firefighters. You know what I'm saying? That type of, you know, skill set kind of lends to that, right? You know what I mean? So I was, you know, my first sergeant was a cop. I had cops that were, you know, under me, over me. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like cops in the National Guard and reserve and the reservists. It's almost like hand in hand. So I know cops for real. I know how they act. I know how they talk. I know how they think. You know what I mean? And so like I said, you know, one of the things about DPD, one of the things I know what happened was, like, you know, a lot of guys, they would join DPD. They live out in the suburbs. They'll join DPD. get the training, because DPD is going to put you through a police academy. You know what I mean? Then you're going to have those 2 to 3 years that you're going to be working on the force, doing real police work. You know what I'm saying? Like you really chasing after goons. You know what I'm saying? Going after bad guys, like for real, because they here. You know what I'm saying? It's crime in Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
I was out there.
Yeah, it's crime in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So
Detroit was crazy.
So versus like being out in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? You just looking to get into something, because you know what I mean? It ain't really nothing really going on. And so what happened? But DPD can't pay the same way as the suburbs do. You know what I mean? So they'll come on, get on DPD, maybe making 40, 50,000, whatever, and then they'll go ahead and jump on into Troy, or the suburbs out here, Dearborn, or Sterling, Madison Heights, or Mount Clemens, whatever. Now they paying 70, 80, 90. You know what I mean? So basically, Detroit trains you up, paid for you to get trained. The taxpayers of Detroit paid you to get trained up, so you can go off and go make that money. So DPT has a retention problem.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They constantly having to bring people in. You know what I mean? Because they know that people can go off, and they leave to go to other departments and get paid more money than what DPT can pay. You know what I mean? I'm hearing that's changing a little bit now. They're but they're doing a big drive right now to get officers to come on.
So that just reminds me, right? Because I'm talking about bringing military on, current and former military. But man, maybe we need to get some law enforcement on the platform as well. Collectively.
I know.
Yeah, get some people on and start, because I think that we have to start understanding that these are positions of power.
Yeah.
And for the longest, we've followed a path where that power we've been taught is only for those other people to wield against us, and that we couldn't be a part of that power structure. KRS-One made a record, Black Cop, Black Cop, Black Cop, Black Cop. But KRS-One, when we think about it now, he's from the Caribbean, right?
Right.
This Freeman thing kind of makes us, we start to look at things a little bit differently. Like, hold on, KRS-One. Maybe if we had some black cops in New York City, certain things, the Sean Bell situation probably wouldn't have popped. And when I say black, I mean Freedman, right?
Right,
It
exactly.
probably don't pop off like that, because I've seen videos where you have Freedman cops that have interrupted potential abuse by white cops against our people. I've seen a lot of videos I don't want to say a lot, but I've seen a good handful of videos over the past 2-3 years where our people that are on the police force have jumped in and stopped a lot of what could potentially have been police brutality situations. So we need to start making sure that we build that up and start moving our young men and young women, because we see a lot of women I prefer young men. I don't want, in this day and age, you got to be politically correct. And you say he's sexist because he wants the women to stay on. Nah, man, I believe in that. And so you could call it sexist. I don't care what you call it. I'd rather the woman stay home if the man could bring in enough money to take care of the household, and if law enforcement gets the pay that they claim that they deserve, then there's a possibility that they may be able to do that, especially our military men and our military men. Let's put it like that. I don't want to exclude the women from the occasion. You might just been one of them sisters that was born with a little too much testosterone. Let the sister come on.
There's exceptions to the rule, but
there's always an exception to the rule. Always an exception to the rule. So yeah, man.
You ain't saying nothing wrong, Naheem. I back you, man. Biology, nature's is sexist. It is what it is.
My sister Riri said, "Exclude me, please."
Nature is sexist, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's
how
it
is, bro.
That's a fact. I mean, it is what it is. We don't do politically correct over here. We don't want the YouTube channel to get taken down, but we men over here. We don't do that liberal snowflake shit over here.
Right.
We don't do none of that, because we ain't no liberals and we damn sure
Right.
ain't no Democrats. So
Right, man. The Democrats now levels, man. We
you
free,
know what I'm
man.
saying? That's a
free,
fact.
man.
We freemen and we
Right.
freemen first. So yeah, man. Let me say real quick where I think that the country might be heading, and this is my opinion. It's weird because I've been really zoning about this since yesterday, and in my mind, I'm like, it's possible. It is possible that this country could head into a good place if the freedmen are fixed. See, that's the issue. The issue is that we've never been fixed, that this country has never absolved itself from that, what they call themselves the original sin. They've never absolved themselves from that, right? So in my mind, there's a possibility that, and I've been thinking about some things. I've been speaking with my team, obviously behind the scenes. We talk every day, damn near. And I've been shooting some ideas at them, and we're formulating some things, especially for the next administration. Shout out to my brother Marcel. You already know. Yo, Marcel, if you watching, I meant to hit you earlier. Send me your ads, and I'll put that in the inbox we all in, because we're gonna start running those on the channel as well. But Marcel did a tweet, and he was like, "There's no guarantee that Trump is going to be the president." But I'm going to say after yesterday,
I've been calling this since. Honestly, I've been calling it, especially since the convictions.
After yesterday, man,
ever since the conventions, I said, "Listen, bro," and then Biden that debate was that showed everything, man. The emperor has no clothes.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So like,
right.
Man, it's just nobody wants these two people.
No,
in reality, nobody. No. You know what I'm saying? Nobody.
Well, I don't want to say nobody, because that would.
Well, I'm saying most people don't. You know what I'm saying? But there's
some people. You know why I would say some people? Because Trump got the most votes for popular votes for a losing candidate in American history. Like, we got to deal with the numbers on that. So I think with us, most of the time we're influenced by the talking heads, and sometimes that seeps in, even with people like us that are more, we don't lean party, but I still think that we can be manipulated to some degree by the cacophony of different voices that are speaking a certain type of way, particularly against a political candidate. So I wouldn't say, because you look at Trump, you look at 50 Cent, as soon as them white boys start putting them many men memes up on Twitter,
you saw that?
What did 50 do?
The internet,
he start retweeting that stuff.
Yeah,
like, how I get involved in this shit?
Man,
okay,
the internet,
let me promote.
The internet is undefeated, man. The internet is undefeated, bro. They did that so fast. But but let me finish my point. I'm not saying. Listen, I'm saying I've been calling him. He's going to win the election well before that. The point that only way Biden could win, like he did, like they did last time, is that there's a super big turnout. You know what I mean? Like, and that was only because we were coming out of, the last one was because we were coming out of COVID. We were coming out of all of the George Floyd and all of that, right? You know what I mean? That happened all under Trump's watch. And so, he was able to, they got the votes to get Biden in. There was energy behind getting Trump out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was, hey, boogeyman Trump. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
This time around, bro, the enthusiasm isn't there. I don't see the turnout coming out. Now, his base is super energized. That's why I was going back to the convictions, right? And I felt like that was a bad look, in my opinion, for the Democrats to go that route. You know what I'm saying? Get him on what he's, there's still a bunch of other stuff that he's did wrong. You know what I'm saying? That is, but don't not that. That was like the weakest case of all of the cases that going against him. You know what I'm saying? But they were trying to knock him out before the election. Now it was an assassination attempt. You know what I'm saying? They were already believing all this stuff. January 6th was proof. You know what I'm saying? That they believed that he didn't lose. You know what I'm saying? Now you going through all these extra measures, you know what I'm saying, to defeat him. Now, you know what I'm saying? So imagine, here's the thing I'm thinking, bro. If at this point, if there's any type of way that they come back and they say Biden won, bro, stuff is getting torn up. I'm telling you, white people riot way better than black people riot. You know what I'm saying? They got the means to riot for a lot longer.
That's
you know
funny.
what I'm saying, bro?
Hey,
That's why I feel like
it's
it's gonna be a bad thing, bro.
And ain't nobody trying to critique it like they did the Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah, no, bro. Honestly, I'm thinking like it's gonna be some, Civil War like type stuff, man. Have you seen that movie Civil War?
I have not. I started it, and I'm a real like stickler for certain movies and how, and I got a classification: A movie, B movie, C movie.
Yeah.
And how it's produced, I'm like, this is a B movie. So that means I'm gonna have to like get really bored one day and just sit there and then watch the movie, right? Because I started watching it, I was like, I can't get into this. Because I'm having so much on the brain.
Right.
I need a movie with good production to actually catch my attention.
I thought it was pretty decent, man. I mean, it wasn't like over the top, like with super graphics, but
I heard it was good though. I heard it was good.
Yeah,
I heard
man.
it was a real good movie.
Yeah, but the crazy thing about it, I waited till it came on digital. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to the movie theater to go see it. It takes a lot for me to go to a movie theater these days. I'm like, I'll just wait for it to come.
I'll be in the movie theater like damn near with my hand on my gun.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'll be sitting there like just waiting to hear any crazy thing. I was like, some crazy ass white boy come up.
Right. That's right. Yeah,
I'm trying to take him out.
Right.
That's where my mind.
That's where your mind is at, right? You know what I'm saying?
Like,
it's like
dude with orange hair trying to come up.
Right. Yeah. You talking about that? Yeah, that happened in Denver with the dude.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, man. The crazy thing about it was like, so it's obvious that the way they play it, the president, they trying to make him look like Trump. You know what I'm saying? They trying to make it look like Trump, and basically he's trying to, he's trying to go for a third term. You know what I mean? But outside of that, they don't really explain like why there's a civil war. They're just acting it out. You know what I'm saying? They just going.
I'm gonna watch it. I don't know. I might put it on later.
But it was kind of crazy, man. I'm like, that it might. I could see maybe something like that could possibly happen. But
so let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Did you see the series Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland?
No, I never did. No.
Man, man, listen.
You suggested?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna suggest. See, because we're moving into the realm of politics, I just started watching House of Cards at the beginning of this year.
Oh,
maybe last year. The end of last year.
Yeah.
Maybe in November, December, maybe. But definitely, well, not definitely, but more than likely at the beginning of the year, I started watching House of Cards. I got through season 1. I got through season 2. Once they got to season 3 and the husband and the wife start bickering and having beef, I was like, I don't like this.
And then I want to say 4 and 5. Yeah, and I wanted to. They took Spacey off of it, Kevin Spacey off of it because of all the allegations and all that.
The allegations. That's right. Now, Designated Survivor. Is a very good series, and I'll give a brief synopsis of Designated Survivor. The Designated Survivor is the person that would be president should the line of succession fail. Right. So if the president, the vice president, the Speaker of the House, anybody else that could be in line for the presidency get killed, then that they have somebody. This guy's like an aide, male, female, it doesn't matter. Usually like some type of aide that I believe the administration designates as the designated survivor. And sure enough, in this series, this happens, and Kiefer Sutherland is the designated survivor, and he has to become the president. That is an excellent series. You talk about the stuff that's going on right now. When you look at Michigan and what happened with Governor Whitmer, with them trying to kidnap her a few years ago, you watch this series and see how they focus on Michigan. Now, this is before this situation happens with Governor Whitmer, right? So, man, listen. Listen. So that's a good one right there, definitely, man. So, I just say all that to say that we're learning, and I can't remember my original point that I was trying to make because we kind of went off into
all over the place
and series and stuff. But the point that I'm trying to make is that like I keep calling us fledgling eagles.
Mhm.
You know, we are fledgling eagles in this political space, and our wings are starting to flap right now. And there's nothing that's going to stop us from growing, because we have everything that is America as the mama bird actually feeding us the things. And you can't stop Mama Bird. Mama Bird is going to keep coming to that nest, because we have everything insofar as the understanding needed. You know, just to give another reference, there's another book I listen to all the time on Audible called Politics for Dummies, the third edition.
Okay.
And, you know, this is something that I'm suggesting for our people to listen to, because it keeps me abreast of the political process and the things necessary, especially for me personally, as I move forward and you know, take my place in the affairs of men and seek political office myself. So, you know, I just want us to be prepared, and I want us to understand that there is a political movement happening with our people. We are not left, we are not right, we are above center, and nothing is going to shake us from that. We are seeking reparative / remedial justice for our people, what this country owes us, so that we can finally be full American citizens in this country that will never ever change until we, you know, until we get that, you know, until we get what's owed. That's never going to change. So, you know, I don't want anybody to be confused that might be on the right, be like, oh man, we could use these guys to boost up our that's not going to happen. But what you can do, you can do is, when you guys take power, we can have a sit down, and I can, you know, give you a blueprint on how our communities need assistance, and how our men especially need resources targeted towards them, so that they can do the things necessary to build a family, raise their family, sustain their family, keep their wives, you know, because a lot of times, you know, it's finances and things like that that may cause infidelity. If finances may be the thing that split up a lot of freedmen marriages, so much so that a lot of our people just don't get married today. And people don't understand that aspect, brother. They don't, you know, they're like, I'm not getting married because it's too much responsibility for me right now. I'm trying to get me together. Then I gotta do. Then you get pregnant, and you know, and with the proper resources, our young men, especially, because everything is targeted towards our women right now, as the Democrats, you know, maintain their power over these last few years. But our young men can start doing the things necessary to build families. Those men that already have families, they can start putting more resources into their families and setting their houses in order. And that's sorely needed. So when I was reading Project 2025 the other night, my fundamental disagreement was their want to use the church to do that and wield government as a weapon. To whereas I looked at it and I said, I disagree with that, but I understand what they're saying. And I wouldn't want to wield government as a weapon, but I would want to wield government for what government is supposed to be for, and that is its usefulness as our representatives in those particular offices. Brother Josh, of course, our brother Josh is going to come on at the very end and give his
I have a hard stop at 9 o'clock, man.
I got you.
House of the Dragons come on, man.
I'm about to catch the so I see, and I can't give away why. Number one, I love the series. I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I just started watching the series. What was that, 3 years ago? But I watched the whole thing, all 8 seasons, in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow, wow, yeah, man. That took me 8 years. You know what I mean? I 8 years.
My eyes was bleeding. I was like, oh, this was really a great series. I wasn't trying to hear it at the time when it was being aired. But there's at the end they speak to the actual actors that play the characters,
Mhm.
and to watch the character development is something that I am extremely interested in for projects that I'm working on that I wouldn't dare air because we got a lot of beat biters out there, bro. They just try to take everything you say and just to jump in front of it, even if it's to try to destroy it.
Mhm.
That's what they do.
Oh, Josh didn't say anything. He left us.
Yeah, Josh, it says device disconnected.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably having there.
You hear me?
There you go. What's going on, bro?
Peace, peace.
Peace. What's good? What's good?
Hey, what's going on, Josh?
Yeah, let me put my little camera on. There we go.
What's going on, bro?
So yeah, it's wild out here. It's wild. They taking shots at president.
They taking shots at presidents.
Hey, man.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah,
literally. Literally.
You take your shot, you better not miss. You shoot at the king, you better not miss, man. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. So is it an op? Is it was this fake? Was it staged? Was it inside job, man? All I know is this: if Trump is not the president on November 6th or 7th, bro, I think there's gonna be a lot of unrest from that side. And I really feel like as Freeman, I was on another panel earlier today, and the brother made this, like, I really feel like we need to, you know what I'm saying, as Freeman, because we always the boogeyman, we always get blamed upon, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we really should try to, protect ourselves and protect our families, man, because like I see that, I can see that actually happening in this country, dude. You know what I'm saying? Some crazy civil unrest, and then once it gets popping and rolling, you know what I mean, and it can go downhill real fast. So that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Josh,
well,
what's your assessment, bro? What's your assessment?
Yeah, how I look at these cycles. It's funny. My son was asking me about what's a Democrat and what's a Republican. So I ended up, he's a young kid, but he's very wise and smart and well read. He knows how to get his own information, and it's amazing how he was able to understand this breakdown. I mean, I ended up telling him what an abortion is. I ended up telling him like,
oh wow,
all kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, you have
to, for him to understand the difference, the political differences of the parties. You have to give examples of like key divisive issues, right? Mm-hmm. And so I ended up breaking down to him, and he could understand when I was in the middle of it, he was like, well, I think I would lean towards Biden because, and he's like, well, if this guy Trump, if he gets in power, we don't know what he's really going to do. I mean, he seems to be doing a lot of lies. He seems to, now he has immunity from the Supreme Court. And if he's committed all these crimes in the past and done all these terrible things, who knows what he's going to do in the future. And then I continued on the conversation, and I had to get to the part where I was like, as Freedmen, we have to look out for our political, social, economic survival. And so one of the problems is that the party that we've been giving the majority of our votes to for the longest has been disrespecting us and hasn't really been giving us anything for that vote. Matter of fact, not only have they been doing that, they've been taking those votes and they have been giving specific policy and helpful policy that materially improves the position of people that are non-freemen in America, therefore, thereby sending the freedmen's position in the opposite direction relative to the rest of America. And so after I finished giving the breakdown with that, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm undecided right now. I need to get some more information. I was like, that's exactly where I'm at, son. That's exactly where I'm at. I still need to. And so when I look at this, like the dude, by him missing, I saw reports that he was a Republican. 20-year-old kid. So who knows what's going on in his head? Like these 20-year-old kids.
I read earlier it was I think that was NBC or MSNBC, same thing, that said the kid was bullied most of his life. A classmate said he was bullied all throughout school, so he was already a social misfit. I called him the Riddler on Twitter. If you've seen that last Batman movie, right?
Yeah.
That dark Batman movie. I was like, yeah, he's like the Riddler. So
right.
I mean, like when I saw the reports, oh, he's a registered Republican. He's 20 years old. He couldn't even vote in the last election. You know, so what are we talking about? Like
maybe a midterm. Maybe a midterm.
I mean, maybe he. No, I'm talking about the last presidential election. You know what I'm saying?
Presidential election.
That's right.
Yeah, because he ended up, he didn't take no shot at no senator or no congressman. He took a shot at the president. So I'm like, when they say he's a registered Republican, I mean, and this is not me defending Republicans. I'm just saying, you're talking about somebody that's 20 years old and who didn't even vote in the last election, who wasn't. So that means he was not an adult with a developed mind with any type of experience or political maturity or anything like that. And he's just a kid who made a stupid, wild decision, who's probably highly malleable and easily influenced and, damaged by whatever trauma, whatever he grew up with. We see these cases all the time. People shooting up places, people shooting up schools, people shoot up the movie theater. This time it just happens to be a presidential on the presidential campaign trail. And it makes it significant. But I guess the reason why I spoke to all of that is to say that I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that as freedmen and us trying to accomplish some of the political goals we need to try to leverage the fact that we give Democrats our vote at the highest clip that any other group gives the vote. We would not, if Trump wins, and we pretty much all in agreement, I'm guessing that it's not going to be that much of a challenge for him to win at this point. It won't be because we cost the Democrats their vote. You know what I'm saying? It won't be because we cost the Democrats the election. It'll be because the Democrats handed Trump the election on the silver platter, and because some person that I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist to say Democrats put him up to it, but some person who was a wild individual decided to take some action that ended up making Trump like a cult and an American hero or whatever. That's the narrative they can paint. It won't be because
they paint in that narrative, Josh.
Right. It won't be because, hey, Democrats, you didn't give us reparations. You didn't push reparations. You didn't support any policies that will materially improve our position relative to the rest of Americans. You didn't, follow any of the suggestions that our grassroots organizations have been suggesting. You didn't take advantage of the Supreme Court ruling. And we gave you our vote at a 90+% clip last time. It might have been 89. I can't remember, something close to that. And you still ain't doing anything. You still ain't. When I say anything, I'm not saying that we didn't receive some benefit. I'm talking about specifically for us at this point. We didn't raise hell. We've been raising hell for years on these particular issues. Yep. And you still largely ignored us, right? You've given us what you felt like you wanted to do, that you can you can say you think you did something, and we can make a claim that we can't say that you didn't do anything. Well, if you don't materially improve my position, after I gave you my vote at that high clip, after I done told you and all the polls told you exactly what issues matter the most to us, and you don't advance those, like, really, what did you do? So because we would not be the causer, or we can't make the claim that we were the causer. It's almost like this is a lost cycle for us. It's a lost cycle. I don't know. We have to regroup the next time. That's what that assassin has partly done at this point. That's where how I'm looking at it. I don't know if y'all see it and that I'm off or not.
Quite that way. I don't think it's a lost cycle, because at some point in time, you know what I mean, they're going to have to adjust to it. They're going to have to, like, Biden was losing this without this guy doing this or not. You know what I mean? Biden was losing this. He was losing before he did the debate.
He called the vice president.
He asked for the debate so they could approve his
hold
numbers.
on, Gerard. He called the vice president just, what was that, Trump. 2 days ago?
Yeah.
He called Kamala Harris Trump.
He had two gas in the same day. He called whatever the Ukrainian prime minister.
That's right.
Putin. He did that all in one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even prior to the debate, bro, he was losing either way.
That's
like,
right.
I've been calling this that Trump was going to win. My mother's been mad at me. She was like, Gerard, please just do it for me, Gerard, because I'm gonna get extra Social Security benefits. That's what Biden is promising me. Do it for me. I would have did. My mama asked me to vote. I would have voted for her. I looked at her straight in the eye. I said, I can't do that. I said I can't. And she was pissed. She was mad, man. She was like, oh, so that's what that. I see what I mean to you. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know.
Yo, we got a couple family members that's on it like that. I'm talking about in the circle, talking about their family members. I don't want to blow them up publicly like that, you know, or blow it up.
Right.
But, yeah, bro. Yeah.
And so no, but I don't look at it as a loss, because I always tell people, because look, I think the Freedmen, we've been on this down ballot voting, because I'm just saying I definitely am going to vote, because I want them to see that I didn't vote for them. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, look at 2016. Clinton lost to Trump and Michigan by 10,000 votes. Michigan had about, I want to say 60,000 to 90,000. I'm that number. I'm not sure if it was 90 or 60, but they had a great, way more than 10,000 people came and did down ballot. Didn't vote for any at the top ticket. More than likely, those votes would have went, more than likely, they would have went to Clinton. You know what I mean? Or went to the Democratic side. Obviously, because they didn't choose to vote for Trump, and they didn't choose to go to Clinton. So more likely than not, those votes probably were going to go to the Democratic side had they had presented a candidate that people wanted to vote for, right? And so look what happened in the 2020 cycle, right? Because those were Bernie people. But basically, those were Bernie people deciding that you screwed over Bernie.
That's right.
And that process, right?
Hey, that is an important factor that you just raised about Bernie's people. I ain't want to cut you off, but I want everybody else that's listening to understand that. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. And a lot of Bernie boys actually went over and voted for Trump. There was a lot of Bernie boys that went over and voted for Trump. But then what did we see in the 2020 cycle? Universal health care, more candidates. It'd be all the things that Bernie was talking about, getting rid of college debt, all these things that at that cycle was people like, oh my God, you were even using the word socialist. That was death knell prior to that time, right? You know what I mean? And that's partially the reason why they colluded to make sure that Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. But you saw Clinton, so you know what I'm saying? They saw that she lost because no one thought that she was going to lose to Trump. They saw that she lost, right? None of the pundits, some people were calling it, but most people weren't. And so, what happened in 2020 cycle, right? Primary. Everyone's talking now these ideas that Bernie was talking about that was so crazy, maybe even back in Obama's time, you know what I'm saying, was so crazy to even bring up, you know what I mean, now are issues that people are, okay, they're like, listen, we got to placate. We had these people show up to the poll and didn't even vote for nobody. You know what I'm saying? So like we obviously missed the bar. And so now these talking points are now, easy. And that's why I said we got to make reparations like that. We have to make reparations like that. But first, we got to convince our people, because we still got to convince our people that we need. It's a do or die. A lot of people think it's like it's something extra. You know what I'm saying? It's a do or die for us in this country. We have to convince them to make that the litmus test. So when somebody asks you and say like, hey, what are you voting for, or what do you want for your vote? I don't want to hear some class-based policy. No, we should be saying, as a black people, it should be reparations, reparations, and reparations. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's the litmus test that we have to make these politicians from every freaking level. I don't believe in state reparations, you know what I'm saying, at all. To me, it's only at the federal level. But I understand the idea of getting it on it just to make it to where it's not right now it's political boo-boo. You know what I mean? Most politicians, Well, now it's changing. You know, it is changing. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it at the local levels, right? But at the federal level, because Biden couldn't do a commission. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking, you know, that's why, you know, I'm like, well, hell, if they're talking about, what's his name? The governor in California, what's his name?
Newsom.
You know, he might, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the favorites, him, Gretchen, so on and so forth. I'm like, listen, if Newsom was willing, you know what I'm saying? If any of them were willing to freaking do a presidential committee on reparations, you know what I'm saying? That's a good step. You know what I'm saying? So,
Indeed.
not to say it's the end all and be all, but you know what I mean? You know, as far as, you know, but at least a committee being done versus this, you know, at least to have it on there. Obviously, the language has to be right. But
Indeed.
but I ended that, man, guys. I know we've been going on long-winded.
Oh, yeah.
That's my thoughts on it, bro.
No doubt. Good and good looking, man. Thank you for your contribution. Definitely. Brother Dre, what's going on, man? Talk to us. What's your thoughts about?
I just wanted to because you know, when I spoke to you earlier,
Mhm.
you know, I said the same thing. Well, I went a little bit more in depth than Josh did when they said he was bullied. I don't believe none of that. Now, because the reason why, because it was only MSNBC that reported that had this whole op about him being bullied, and this, like, the reason why I say that is because that's a part of like their whole mantra of DEI. To me, they're framing this whole shooting, right? If you look at Twitter, just look at Twitter, you have Democratic people that at first said it was a psyop, it was fake. Roland Martin said it was fake. Who else? It was about 3 or 4 people later before a lot of information that person who got killed last night, right? What you call said it was fake. DL, he obviously we know he's not he's not into actual politics. It's actually being a politician. The point I'm making is that they framed that shooting outside of it just being someone that shot at him, because don't forget, they call him Hitler at least like 200 times last month. They call him a fascist at least 1,000 times last month, right? We don't really understand the optics of this, like, and the importance. We just like we let the whole black jobs thing slip through our hands. You look at Black Twitter and how they're kind of like, yo, why is a self-proclaimed autistic woman in what's her name? What's that chick? Amanda Diva. She even talked about it was fake. It was just like, yo, what are y'all talking about?
Amanda Seals.
Yeah, Amanda said, yeah.
She's
Amanda
goofy.
Diva's because when she used to be on MTV, she's called.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's goofy.
the point I'm making is though, like, look at the optics of that though. It's like, I mean, obviously we know there's some white folks saying that it was a setup. I mean, it was fake. But look at like just the algorithm, how we're like, it's fake. It's just like, yo, someone died. And why would someone, he was already winning the race. He already destroyed him in the debate. Why does he need to fake?
Hey, wait, Dre. It's like, wait a minute. I think this will really just give me an extra million
that
votes.
was the weirdest thing.
I need somebody to shoot at me, kill somebody in the crowd.
Yeah,
let me try to do my best Trump. I need somebody to
think
shoot
about
at
it like
me,
this though.
kill somebody in the crowd. Come on.
But think about it like this though, Abba and Josh. When did they shoot him? So think about this. It's fake, but they shooting when the guy shot at him, he was making his point about illegal immigration. He was pointing at the teleprompter.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm gonna set up my fake death while banging home the most important key to this election. It is the weirdest thing ever. It's just like we don't understand like how we were finally put on the world stage with the black jobs thing, and we let that just like, right now the man gets an attempt on his life, and we the ones making fun of it. It's just like, what are y'all talking about?
I seen goofy parodies. I was like, man, I'm not feeling this.
Yeah, I seen the joint when they were like, it was people like putting ketchup on them and stuff like.
Yeah, that was
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Let me say the other thing about the other part about why I think, you know, this is, and I'm great. Dre, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you're talking about like us being goofy and like not understanding what this really means, because I mean, think about who we're talking about. We're talking about a vindictive dude, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
A Trump who's like coming for blood if he get back in power. And then we're gonna that like feeds right back into my second point where I'm looking at this is like this whole situation with this assassination attempt is gonna have a negative effect for us, not only because it kind of gives Democrats more of an excuse of why they lost, and we weren't able to necessarily highlight the fact like it was a slim thing, and then the black vote or the Freedman vote made the difference, and that caused them to lose. No, this is a wide margin, so they're not going to pay as much attention to that. And then the other thing is now Trump on the other side, because it's not a closely contended election. What does Trump have to do as far as to give us something, right?
Nothing.
For an exchange. He has a
Right.
gift wrapped and handed to him. So
Right.
we don't have the leverage to go to Trump and say, hey, you need us to win. What are you going to give us XYZ for us to get our vote? We need you to put so and so in office. We need you to enact so and so executive order. We need your administration to consist of XYZ. He's like, I don't need you. Get lost, So I mean, that's how this is a negative. Now, if you want to pile on top of that and keep going with the memes of saying it's fake, and all the people in the mainstream media, especially the black folks and some of the freedmen, like going through with all that nonsense, it's not a good look. It's not going to be helpful, especially if you know this dude finna win. That's just what it is.
I don't know if you've seen earlier, and I want to show the other side of it, because yes, you have some goofy ass people from Freedman stock, if they're from Freedman stock, quote unquote black people, doing all of these parodies. But you also have whites like this clown right here, Gunther Eagleman, that basically said that Trump's security detail was somehow limited, or no, let's read it. Let me blow it up a little bit. These are the congressional representatives that sought to remove Trump's Secret Service detail. They should all resign in disgrace. And I'm looking at these people. I'm like, wait, hold up. Besides the names that I can already notice that are American freedmen, just because I know who they are, I'm like, these are freedmen. What is this guy talking about? Right? So we see that on the other side of it, you have some people, and it reminds me of this sister from Chicago. She was in a MAGA space. I believe it was a MAGA space. It was definitely right-wing Republican space. And, the fact of the matter is there's some MAGA whites that's fucking with our people, like hard. And I've seen it. Like, and I don't know if it's an act or not, but the face that they're putting on in the public is that they rock with us. But then you have those people that ain't trying to sugarcoat it at all. I don't like you people. So there was one sister that got up on the stage and she was trying to let it be known, like, no, wait, I'm MAGA. I'm a Trump supporter. Dude basically was like, I don't care. So like, you still black. F you. Now he didn't use those words, but that's right. That was his basically that was his expression. And so our people have to be careful. You can be a Trump supporter. You can support whatever political candidate you want. I'm not going to necessarily call you an Uncle Tom. And I don't say necessarily out of the fact that I'll call somebody that because they support Trump. More so, it'll be, if I'm calling somebody that, it's because they'll support Jim Crow Joe Biden, because I know what he did to our communities in the 1990s with those crime bills. And I'll never forget, because I lived through it. I've been a victim of it. I've watched the victims of it. And I'll never live that down.
Yeah, bro. I got into a heated argument with my cousin last night. You know what I'm saying? Heated argument, bro. And that was I'm like, in my opinion, Biden's worse than Trump. You know what I mean? I'm one of the people say like Biden did, like, you could say what Trump would do or whatever. I said, but he was in office. At least he did the Step Down Act or whatever it was. He kind of, he did some things to reverse some of the stuff that Biden had done. Biden was the one that did the crack cocaine discrepancy. Biden was the one that purposely was labeling youth in the inner city is, the jungles, and you know what I'm saying, he was against integrating the schools. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is, he's hanging out with segregationists, doing their eulogies and things of this nature. Like, you could say, well, Trump, you could say, oh, and Trump is just as equally bad. I don't think Trump like black people like that either. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? Because she brought up the Central Park 5. I'm like, okay, but that was an article, that was an ad.
That's
Biden
right.
did legislation. He just didn't do the crime
right.
bill. He did damn near every crime bill over
That's
40-some years, from the
That's
70s
right.
to the 90s. You know what
And
I'm
has
saying?
a recent one. Has a
Right.
more recent one. That's right.
Yeah, so like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has done material harm. Like, this dude is, you talking about dictator, or I'm like, he's actively participating in the genocide. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, not to say that Trump would do any better, but I'm just saying, like, I don't see the material difference. like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Biden is just as much as a freaking part of the American empire that Trump will be. It's no different. So
Hey,
that's why you're not gonna scare me with that.
I
You know
had
what I'm
to
saying?
tell people, because they keep saying dictator Trump. And I'm like, what about dictator Biden? The
Right.
DNC told other candidates that are, to me, better qualified than Biden to run, that they couldn't run. They couldn't challenge Biden. That sounds like a dictatorship to me. So my thing is, if what was that old saying? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Yeah.
And if it's good for the goose, then in this instance, it's good for the gander. I don't understand how we have such selective outrage and selective amnesia, it seems like. So yeah, no, I feel you on that, man. We have to be real, and we have to, for the most part, take our emotions out of it. And a lot of times, and I don't want to just say our people, Americans in general, they can't take their emotions out of it. They won't.
They won't.
They won't.
No.
They won't.
Nah, man. And my cousin, and she went talking about the whole, abortion and all of that. If you really look at it, man, the 14th Amendment was for us.
That's
and
a fact.
They've used that 14th Amendment for everything.
Yeah, nothing to do with abortion. That's a fact.
Everything, you know what I'm saying? The Supreme Court was correct. The 14th Amendment does not give you a right to freaking pull a baby out your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't give you a right for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I'm okay with, somebody, hey, life is life, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to control anybody else's thing. I'm not saying if somebody did abortion, they're a bad person, but you don't, the Constitution, the Constitution, or let's say that 14th Amendment, you don't have no more right to have an abortion than it gives you a right to have a driver's license. You know what I'm saying? It's correct. That should have been at the state level. You know what I mean? Straight up, that was the right decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I mean, again, I get it was precedents that already been put in place, blah blah blah, 50 years, anyways. But I'm just like, because she was like, well, abortion. I say, that's not really an issue for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, like honestly, I don't have no control over that anyway. You know what I mean? So like,
that ain't my issue.
Nationwide or statewide.
If anything, I agree with it. About them reversing Roe versus Wade when it comes to our people.
Yeah, Planned Parenthood is a racist institution. Was founded on racism.
That's a
fact. What I'm saying? Why are we still at 13-something%, bro? Why are we still at 13-something% population all these years, man?
That's right.
Think about
it. Right.
I will say this. I will say this. The whole thing about reproductive rights and abortion and why they're marketing it is not really towards us. It's really towards the selfish, what they call the new women's lib white woman. That's who they're talking to. Abba knows this because he's seen me go back and forth with a white woman that literally argued me down that abortion is safer than natural pregnancy.
That's right.
And so what you got to understand is that there's a certain amount of vanity and self-centeredness that women are showing in the Democratic Party, bro. I said this to Abbott. I'm gonna say it again. I don't know why Freeman pretend, especially if y'all on Twitter, that y'all can't go up and down your Twitter timeline and see who's defending Biden. Hollywood, C-list celebrities, LGBTQ black men, and the extreme feminist black women. That's it. Like, why do we pretend that? And if that's who's defending these people, then that's who they're talking and marketing their brand to. And so we have to kind of like step away from this wrestler thing. Like, I always tell people, you don't like Trump or you don't like his personality. Because it's like, what in his policy, especially for I told this to white America, what in his policies affected you in a negative way? Especially right before, because another thing we failed, we always act like, I don't know what is, do y'all understand, before that pandemic, Trump was probably at, like, he was one of the more popular presidents in this nation up until the pandemic, right? And if you
That's a
remember,
fact.
he was still popular going into the election until that last stimulus came out and he made that big somehow some, this is not an American stimulus. Why are you sending this money to here and there? And it's like, and it was like Congress on both sides was like, shut this motherfucker up, right? Because it was like, you talking about the pork of the bill. Because
Right.
Obama didn't tell you about the pork of the bill.
Right.
If you look at the Affordable Health Care Act, you know how much pork is in that bill for pharmaceutical companies?
Right.
When you looked at the stimulus packages Obama put out, how many insurances companies and bankers got rich off of that? So when he said that, when he was like, this is not, he's like, why are we sending, remember he said, why are we sending the American people 1,200 and we're sending Iran, what he said, like $1 billion, right? It was like, that was when you seen that shift, right? That's when Clyburn had the fish fry and all this weird stuff was going on. That is like, yo, we pretend that his policy, this is why I was telling my man, Josh and Abaddon, but like I was telling Black Seed this. The only reason why I believe Trump will win is because Biden diluted whiteness in the United States of America. See, we always suffered under these administrations, but when you dilute whiteness, that's a whole different ball game. And none of y'all can pretend that Biden didn't dilute whiteness. Because when a white father who's probably six figures can't tell his son to go get a job at the local grocery store because they're giving that job to an illegal migrant to bag groceries, you diluting whiteness. When you tell those people in Idaho who only survive off that Tyson's food plant that not only gonna move this plant, we gonna give a whole job fair for illegal migrants to work at this plant, you're diluting whiteness. That's enough for somebody to shoot another candidate if you think about it. So that's, I don't really get why we now, I was telling my homie this today. I said, it's funny about us. We have this weird sense of morality and be at the bottom. Everybody else is willing to cut your ear off to win. And we got this morality. "Well, he said black jobs." It's just like, what are you talking about? And that's why I agree with Josh. It's like, you got this man who's willing to at least extend the arm out. I'm not saying he's what he's going to do, but put you into the stage and then you laugh at him and say he's wrong. And then you look at not our media per se. I'm talking about the when you look at television, they use, look, think about this. And this is going to Josh saying, then I'll shut up. Letitia James, black woman who which was the biggest waste of time with that Mar-a-Lago case, right? Then you got Alan Bragg, right? Black, I'm gonna call him a black woman. Black woman, right? Who wasted the New Yorkers' time with that weird case. That weird case, right?
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah. I was
Then
talking
you got Fannie Willis, who was doing the craziest stuff behind closed doors. Then when she got called out, she goes to a church in Marietta, Georgia, talking about black women are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sexualized. Ain't none of us knew about this before the court case. Who knew about what she was doing behind closed doors before her business got out? And then she
Nobody.
blamed us. The point I'm making is, so now look at this. Look at this, y'all. We got these three figureheads who trying to prosecute him. Then if you turn on the View, you got what's her name, Sunny Holston. I don't even know where Sunny Holston came from. Think about it. Whoopi
She
been
been
on that
around
show from the
for a minute.
beginning. Whoopi been on that show from the beginning. Bette Midler been on that show. But now we got Sunny Holston
Oh yeah,
talking down
yeah,
with
that's true. That's
black
true.
men and black people. Y'all need to get y'all stuff together and vote. What's wrong with y'all? It's just like, so at every corner we got us in the front of the media, whether they're from the lineage or not, talking this crazy stuff. How we gonna do pop? How we gonna ask for anything? It's us who's really going at him. Even CNN is siding with Trump now. How weird is that? So I got here Sonny Holston, Whoopi talking about Biden can poop in his pants. Then you got
Drake cooking. Let me give Dre a solo. Drake
then you
cooking
got
right
then
now.
you got just think about that. Then you got Maxine Waters talking about they in the hills practicing gunshot. They're gonna pew pew black. It's just like in the hills. Where's the hills in Chicago? So then you got that. Everywhere you turn, there is like yo, me and Abel talked about. Think about how weird it was for me to open up Twitter and see a fat middle-aged black man says, "Twerk like a black woman, vote like a black woman."
Roland Martin.
That's blasphemous, man. But they did
And
that too.
then you know what I said? So I said, this is laughable. How dare you say? So a black woman said to me in the comments, y'all just hate black women. You know what I said to her? I said, imagine your father telling his daughter, vote like a black man. Then it would have been an issue.
Right.
So, but as a black man trying to do politics, I'm supposed to vote like a black woman. Listen, I don't have female reproductive organs. And I don't think we understand the optics of that, right? That's why I had to give you that whole little scope.
Well, you know the Democrats,
They been
OVO
doing this.
means no, let me stop. Go ahead.
But this is why I'm giving you that scope, right? Because you have all of what I just told you that leads up, and then this man gets shot, and then his NBC talking about, well, he was bullied the whole time. Oh, by the way, he was a Republican. And then you got black people on Twitter like, it was set up. You got Amanda Seals talking about something. It sounds like popcorn coming out the fryer. This woman is a self-proclaimed autistic woman, and now we're gonna talk about bullets. So, yo, how dangerous
And she
is
said, did she
that?
say she was from the hood?
Yeah,
And
talking
that's
about I'm
not
from the hood of Harlem. And you lived in Columbia University, man. You didn't even leave campus. Like, what are we talking about? It's just the weirdest. But we don't understand the optics where Biden will rent out that Philadelphia high school gym and couldn't get 5 black people to show up. But you know what they're gonna do? We're gonna turn the BET Awards into a Biden rally. So you know what white America does when they see that? Oh, they good. They love Biden. They good. They dancing and hipping and hopping and like, come on, man.
well,
I'm
look,
sorry, y'all.
I'll say this, right? I'll say this real quick. 50 Cent, when you look at the hip hop culture, there's a contrast there. And when you look at 50 Cent, Sexy Red, people gonna have their issues with these people, especially Sexy Red. I see the comments. I try to refrain from making my public comments about my people. Of course, I don't like the trash part of it, and that's obvious. Those that know me, you know me. But I try to, especially on Twitter, you're not going to see me saying too much of anything about that. Because to me, that's like putting family business out there. On my Facebook wall, I might talk about it, right? But when we see the young culture, they seem to be siding with Trump. And what we're looking at with your Taraji P. Henson's, et cetera, and this kind of black elite establishment that's riding with the Democrat. And I want to, and I see you, I know you want to talk, Gerard, but I want to say this, right? Because this is important. When you're looking at the Be the Power platform, when you're looking at this platform, you're not looking at Democrats and Republicans. You're not looking at that. You're looking at people that see through the Democrats and the Republicans and can bring you an honest, unbiased, or at least, let me say mostly unbiased, because we have our biases. Everybody has their biases. It's just as simple as that. But when I'm saying that, what I'm saying is we don't lean towards any party. If Trump do some messed up stuff, we're going to call it out. It's just as simple as that. He's just going to get called out. His people or his supporters, et cetera, et cetera. But on the flip side of that, you have people that's rocking out with dude. And I think he understands that and realizes that. So he's not taking the same position as maybe a Steve Bannon or what's the Jew dude that's going around filing the lawsuits that was in his administration? Super racist dude.
Was it Miller?
Yeah, Miller. I can't think of his name.
Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller, right? Those types. Even the Heritage Foundation, and y'all just watched our live stream the other day where we dissected Project 2025, and we showed you that some of this stuff is horrible. It's bad. And some of it we actually agree with because we actually took the time to dissect a good portion of it. So, and I would adopt some of those things with slight modifications, of course. But the point I'm making right now is that we are not party focused. We're policy focused on our people. And that is the key. That is the main key. Everything else to us is irrelevant. Can I sit down with Donald Trump and have a type of conversation that, shout out to my sister Sonny Johnson, Black conservative, and anybody that knows Sister Sonny, Coach Felicia, and everybody that's in that circle, you know that they do their conservatism a little different. And when you watch the video with her sitting down with Trump, sis going in, and she's loud. She's like, our communities are in crisis, right? She's keeping it official in front of Trump. She's not tap dancing. Oh, Mr. Trump, can you please, do this or do no? She's letting it be known. Our communities are in crisis. They're in crisis and they need to be fixed, right? And I respect that. And you won't get no different from us. We don't tap dance for nobody. We never have and never did. So, but the issue is, I think that we would be more likely to have a sit down with Donald Trump than we would with the Biden administration. Why would I say that? The main people attacking us on Twitter are Democrats, Black Democrats. That's a fact. That is a fact. The people that I'm having good, constructive builds with, even debates at times, are Black Republicans. A Pew Research poll that was published, I think that was last year, showed that 66% of Black conservatives agree with reparations, something that we're fighting for. You have the conversation with the whites, the MAGAs, right? It's like, well, would you rather send billions of dollars to Afghanistan, Iran, because that's where the money is going. Or would you rather us have it? Let's have the conversation for real, because this is the money that you owe us. So if you agree that the money should go to Afghanistan, Iran, I can't have no conversation with you. You're lost. F you. F you and your whole bloodline and everything you represent. And that's just how I'm going to give it up. But those of you,
hey,
and
you crazy,
I'm just keeping it official. Now, I just had a conversation, an hour-long phone conversation with a white Republican the other night that agrees with reparations, but he wanted to understand it. And he said he spoke to several different people in this nationwide movement, and then he finally had the conversation with me. And, I think I was able to round that conversation out for him, to let it be known how we think on this side of things and the think tank that we have over on this side of things. There's conversation to be had. And the problem is Republicans view us as obstacles to Democrats view us as obstacles to keeping the person that they want in power, because for them, they don't care about our plight, many of them. They just care about protecting their lifestyles. And that's it. And if that is your ceiling when it comes to politics, I'm going to throw up Thor's hammer every time and crush and shatter your glass ceiling, because that's all it is. And it's thin glass, like a wine glass, if you will. It's not even no thick glass that requires a large amount of force to break. Just a couple taps. And that's it. So I say all that to say that we are, as a fledgling political movement, and I repeat this a lot, we are in a unique position. We are in the position to do things for us and our people in a way that any politician that's worth his or her salt would look at it. Again, me and Marcel drafted up something, the Office of Freedmen Affairs, and we submitted it to white Republicans in South Carolina that said, you know what, I want to help reverse the poverty. And I know because I got the recordings, right? I got the record. I wouldn't dare share them unless Marcel said it was okay. And I still wouldn't share them because I don't know if the people would want them to be shared. But I got the recordings of these white people saying, these white Republicans saying, I want to reverse the generations of poverty in the Black community. What can you get to us, you know, that we could present to reverse this stuff? So if that be the case, if that's something that they're sincere about, then I'm gonna have that meeting with anybody for my people. You're not gonna shame me like you did Ice Cube. I'm gonna stick my middle finger up at you. Like, you got me confused. I'm from the hood. I don't have no fan base or interest to protect. I care about my people. I care about myself first and foremost, my children second and first and foremost, and my people third and first and foremost. So everything else is irrelevant to me. You can't shame me, embarrass me. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. I understand politics at a level that you don't. And because of such, I'm not going to let you gaslight me. It's not going to happen. So I just wanted to pardon my rant, but I just wanted to say that. Brother Gerard, you were trying to say something?
I forgot, man. Exactly. I'm about to head on out though, man. But
Okay.
I'm gonna end with this, brother. I normally end with on my show, the Freedman Collective. We have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We only have permanent interests, man. Peace and reparations.
Facts. Peace, brother, man. Facts.
It's been good, and I appreciate you having me up, man.
Oh, definitely. Yo, I'm gonna be reaching out
great
soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Reach out to some of your former military buddies, law enforcement. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull some things together from my end. And I really want to have a show. And I don't just want to have one stream. I want to have several streams where you brothers and sisters, for those of this you who are sisters in the military, that want to come and share your experiences and tell our people why they should join the military, why they should be law enforcement officers, etc., etc.
And what pitfalls to, what I'm saying, because again, there are issues with it, but how to navigate around it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a predominantly white institution, and so there's nuances of that, you know what I mean? Just like with any job, right? You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? White people control it, you know what I'm saying? So, but being in how to navigate it through it so where you can be successful and possibly, you know what I'm saying, mentor the next generation that's coming up or coming through it, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Precautionary tales as well,
Oh yeah, of course.
But all right then, brothers, I appreciate it again. Like I said, peace of reparations, man. I appreciate everybody, everyone that joined the panel for Naeem for bringing me up, and I'm looking forward to all the things that we talked about.
Definitely, brother, man.
Right,
thanks
man.
for coming through and sharing your wisdom and your experiences, bro.
Yes, sir. Peace of reparations.
All right, peace, fam. So, we're coming to the end of the stream. I said I promised myself I was only going to be on here for an hour, Dre. and that didn't work out. Now my camera acting. So I gotta get a new camera. I had this camera for a couple years now. This thing acting stupid on me. But yeah, man, I promised myself I was only going to be on here for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We approaching almost 3 hours. So
then I came on and reset the clock.
Well, yes, Josh comes on at the end and does what Josh does.
I wanted to thank Josh for that because that was the only reason why I jumped on. I said, Josh gonna come in late. I'm gonna jump right on in it.
That is funny. But yeah, man. So Josh, did you have anything you wanted to share before we get up off air?
No, I just want to say, all of us got a role to play in this in some different type of form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that certainly, it's a lot of people, majority of our people are Democrats. That's just the reality. Majority of our people are Democrats. That's shown by the polls, the exit polls. They show the voting trends and the voting. And we understand why that is historically. We can trace it back to certain things that happen. There are a large percentage of our people that are not committed to either side or out of the process or don't vote. And then there are others that there's a smaller percentage that's a conservative. One of the things about us is, again, we're not policy. I mean, we're not party focused, we're people focused. So whatever administration is in power, we feel like we can have a productive conversation, and we can find a way to have a conversation where we can get something out of it, right? So there may be people that can only have conversations representing our best interests with Democrats because they kind of put themselves in the corner that way. And there may be some people that only feel like they can have a conversation with Republicans because that's what they've been pushing and pumping, and constantly that's what time they be on, especially on like social media. But we're the people that we don't care about any of that. We can adapt to whatever environment because we're putting policy and our agenda first. And so that's all I want to say. Everybody got a role to play. Everybody, shout out to those out there that's still fighting, keep fighting a good fight. And I'm out. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Brother Dre, any closing
Yeah,
words you want to share
my
with
closing
the
words
people?
is that I just want to say that understand the moment of this time that you're in. I'm not speaking for Naheem. I'm not speaking for Josh. I'm only speaking for me. I feel like if y'all let the Brahmin bigot and Sleepy Joe get reelected, I think a lot of these conversations is gonna go by the wayside. That's just me. I am by no way. I'm not a fan of wrestling, so I don't look at Biden versus Trump as like who got the better leg drop and who's the. I don't care about none of that. But what I do understand is that I understand when a person promise you nothing, what do they have to deliver? Biden during the first Democratic debate, when was asked about reparations, said, "What about Hispanics? They the future of this country." And what did he do for 4 years? Let them in.
That's a fact.
Kamala on the Griot says, "I know y'all had slavery and Jim Crow, but I'm not gonna do nothing for black." And that's what they did. So how
No.
these conversations progress with another 4 years of them? I don't see it. This is why I was so angry when we let the black jobs thing slip out of our fingertips because two reasons. One, you let Biden off the hook with that horrible debate performance. And what you did was you gave MSNBC and the View a talking point instead of focusing on the fact that this man is a liar and a blithering idiot. Why is CNN called out how many lies Biden said, but they talking about Trump's a liar. It's just the
Facts.
weirdest thing.
It's the
The point I'm
weirdest thing.
making, the point I'm making is like we don't I don't think outside of the few of us freemen and the people that's politically conscious understood these opportunities are slim. But if y'all let this Rocky start, because I'm starting to look at this like a movie now. Y'all let this man get reelected, you can cancel Christmas. I don't care what anyone say. That's just my opinion. I don't see how. Because, and the last thing I'll say is this. Even if we're the enlightened ones and understand new monetary policy, right? That you could print money, then they're gonna say to you, "Well, we'll get you guys. Let's just take care of these 20 million people we just amnestied and get them situated. You've been here." Or if you're the person that's not enlightened and think your tax dollars and that this money has to be accounted for, they're gonna tell you, "Well, all the money is gone because we had to give it to the migrants." Like, how does this conversation start if we do not tackle this moment with a laser focus and understand, yo, it's policy over party. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care what you pulling out your belly. I don't care if you twerk like a white woman or a black woman. But what is it going to do to put food in freedmen's bellies, houses over freedmen's head? That's like, yo, man. That's all I'm gonna say about it. So I appreciate you letting me come on with y'all for a second.
Oh, honors, man, honors. And I just want to say real briefly before I close it out, we have 310 people watching this live stream right now, mostly obviously on Twitter, where we have our our major presence at. And I would like for you all to go to our YouTube channel, Be the Power, subscribe on our channel, hit the bell notification icon so that you can be notified every time BTP goes live. And support the channel, support the platform. Your support is definitely needed. Our voices are unique in this space. We gave a breakdown tonight that a lot of people can't give in this space because their perspective is not the same as ours. Many of us didn't come up the way that we came up, so they can't give the perspective that we give. On top of that, we are polymaths. We are very, very well studied in several topics, and some of us are on this team a little more studied on certain subjects than others. But for the most part, and I mean on the team, for the most part, we all balance each other out with this information. So I want to make sure that the people are following this platform. Visit our website, usadof.org. We have a petition up urging Biden, who said you got our back, right? So if you got our back, then issue an executive order impaneling a commission to not just study reparations, but give recommendations so that this country can atone for its original sin. If you got our back, then that's what you would do. That's what you would have did when you first came in office, actually. And we definitely not feeling Kamala. Everybody, we not feeling Jim Crow Joe. We not feeling Kamala. We not rocking with Kamala over here. There's nothing that you can say to us outside of, okay, I'll do everything that you guys are demanding that's even going to make us want to sit down at the table. Because for us, we don't care who the politician is. We care about the policy that they're going to propose and act and ultimately champion for until it's a thing. And when that's done, then we can move forward. And I can still not like you. Like, yo, I don't like you, Jim Crow Joe. I don't like you, Kamala. But you got this thing done, so it is what it is. Trump, I don't support you. I'm not a Trump supporter. It's just, it is what it is. I don't rock with you or what you about with the people that's aligned with you. But if you get this thing done for me and my people, thank you. Thank you. Because we're policy centered. We don't care about these personalities, man. When Senator Wade and Representative Dixon and Representative Yu and the rest of us and Senator, Governor, et cetera, in this movement becomes the power players, then things are going to start moving. And when it does, we won't have to worry about those people at all. We'll move this thing ourselves. And that's why we have this platform. And that's why we have this motto, right? The motto is don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. So, we said what we had to say. We spoke about Trump's assassination attempt. We gave a breakdown. I was able to give some breakdown to the shooter and the obstacles he may have faced and why he didn't hit Trump, and the fact that many people on the left, especially black-faced Democrats, are calling it a hoax. You had, what else? We touched on Brother Gerard, former military, came up. He was reliving them glory days, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let him flow. I'm gonna let him relive them glory days, because my strategy there was for other people that that may be interested in joining the military. That my strategy is for them to join the military, join law enforcement, get up in there, man. We need our people in these positions of power, just like I need to be in political power. So I wanted him to give those stories, because they're different from the hood stories that I grew up on and the jail stories and all the different things that we've shared among ourselves that kind of sound similar. You know, the warrior life, the warrior life. So, and you know, at the end, of course, Josh comes on at the end of the live stream like he always does. And you know, we still was able to have an extended but powerful conversation with Brother Dre. So I just want to shout out my people, man. We are in, I think we are in a good position. We are being courted by very powerful people. And there are people that want to hear what we got to say. And I know because I'm the one that they're reaching out to, that they want to hear from. And my thing is, I don't know it all. My perspective is my perspective. And we have a nationwide network, particularly United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, and Be the Power, who are, to me, top tier. Top tier. And when we get in that door, it's over. It's over, and we are getting in that door. We getting in that door. So let me repeat the motto of our platform: don't just fight the power, become the power, and then and only then will you have the power to make a change. That means something. Don't just fight the power, become the power, become the politician, become the political operative, become the political organizer. Then you will have the power to make the changes that you need in your locale. Go back and watch the last live stream where we streamed the Freedmen's Bank Forum. We touched on CDFIs and SSBCIs and MDIs and a bunch of other things that I have up in my browser that I'm gonna share with my team so that we can start moving and getting our people the resources that they need in these neighborhoods where we are. So, that's it for me, man. I thank you all for watching. Again, for those of you that are watching on Twitter, I see it's 311 people live. Most of you are on Twitter. Go to our channel, Be the Power, subscribe. Go to our other channel, Freedman University, subscribe. We're going to be putting up content on both channels. And we do have a TikTok, Be the Power. I'm just not like that type of social media person that that does that stuff. But if you want to become a member of our organization and you know about messaging and branding through social media, and you would like to take some of this content and put it on TikTok and IG, etc., hit me up or go to our website, usadof.org. Become a member, fill out an application. We're going to get back to you. Our membership is growing. So that's all I want to say, fam. That's all I want to say. So shout out to you all. Thank you all for attending. I think our next live stream is going to be, dissecting the Biden administration's policies and if they are policies that actually helped our people in the way that they're saying, in the way that the advertisements on the radio are saying, and that these left-wing pundits in the Democratic Party are saying. I dissected it on a thread on Twitter, real brief, within like 30 minutes. Imagine if I sit down for about an hour or two and go through it, which is what we do over here at BTP. Y'all just seeing me, but it's a team of us for those of you who are watching for the first time. So with that said, look, I'm out. Peace.